There we go. Sorry about that. Music was a little loud to kick things off. How's everyone doing? Ooh. Starting 2 minutes late. How unbecoming. We're all ready, though. So, I saw a few people in chat wondering what the art was. That is fan art that was made for QuaranTea. That they're in the description, actually. I linked to their Twitter. Dippy Doots made that. And its quality. Here, you know what? I have the file. Let me just show you all the full thing. Add. Image. I can work OBS. Don't worry. I actually have a lot of experience with streaming programs. I mentioned this before, but I was a competitive gaming caster long before I was a YouTuber. Here we go. Let's show this off. This is awesome. There. That's the full thing. It's wonderful. There was actually another bit of fan art that someone else made. It's tricky because I'd want to link their Twitter in a way that's obvious, but I don't know that I can do that. It's on my Twitter. I retweeted it. I'll talk to them about it. But then I already for tomorrow have another piece of art that I'm going to be using. It's wonderful. It always tickles me when I see people making art based on anything that I do. Okay. Let's see. I think the music might still be a little bit loud. How does this sound to everyone? How's the balance? Let me turn myself up a bit in OBS. I'm probably just a teeny bit quiet. Okay. Tea today. Let's get this started in earnest. Today, I'm actually a little bit excited because I've never tried this tea before. This is a sencha from Ichigo Trading, and I've never tried any Ichigo Trading tea before. It's technically Ichigo Trading and Travel Company. I literally have never opened this. I got this a while ago, and it should still be good. So this is a sencha. It's a kind of Japanese green tea. It's probably the most common kind. I really like sencha. In fact, I've gone through all of the sencha that I have. This is, besides Genmaicha, this is all I've got in terms of green tea, because I drank myself out of house and home. Yeah, Ayumi. This is Ayumi. So if you're interested, I'm just going to give this a try. This is going to be first impressions. I know. Down the Rabbit Hole is now a reaction channel. When's the new video coming? I know, there's always going to be questions about that, and I know people who have been here for a while, like, have heard me say this over and over. It's going to be coming in the next few weeks. I'm just in the video editing phase right now, and in fact, today's guest is going to be Ryan Probert. He's the person who's writing all the music, and he's working on the music right now. Since the narration's done, I'm editing it together and sending it off to him in chunks. Buzzardo. I'm so glad you checked out Ignia. Ignia is one of my favorite new bands. They're incredible. Yeah, they're niche, they're strange, but they're really good. And yeah, Tenchi Ladybug is pointing out, this is a mukbang. This is like an anti-mukbang mukbang. This is, I hate mukbangs, so this is like my response to it. Okay, so here's how I'm going to steep this. A pretty standard way of doing sencha that I was taught that's really good and has not failed me yet is so you steep it 3 times. The first time you steep it for 30 seconds. Oh god, it's been so long since I've made sencha. Christ, it's at about 130 degrees for like 130, 135 for 30 seconds. Then you steep it again 10 degrees Fahrenheit hotter for a minute and a half. And then you steep it again for another like 30 seconds to a minute. So that's what we're going to be doing here. I'm pretty sure I got that right. This is interesting. This is very, like, fine tea. We're going to get lots of tea particulates in there. That's going to make the tea a little bit bitter, probably, but that's okay. We're just trying it. This is an experiment, for sure. And that's kind of the funny thing about tea. Even if you get the same kind of tea over and over again, you know, year by year, it's going to be a little bit different each time. 4, 3, 20. We're going to do, like, 125. We're gonna go under, because the thing with sencha is that it's really whiny. If you get the water too hot, then it freaks out and gets really bitter. You need longer steeps to extract the most. Yeah, that's not surprising. But we'll might do a little bit longer. You really don't need that much time for sencha, though, in my experience. But yeah, each tea sort of demands its own steep time and its own temperature to get the most out of it, and you really have to experiment to figure out what you like. And how to get what you want out of each tea. It's in that way, it's very personal. Like, there are tons of people who love it really bitter and astringent, and I'm not about that. Tea is naturally astringent, but like, I don't like the astringency to the degree that a lot of like tea snobs do. So I just steep it for, you know, lower temperatures, sometimes shorter amounts of time. Oh, celestial seasoning. So they're the people that do throat coat, right? Because I grew up with that a lot when I was sick. I don't get sick very much. Would I say I'm an essential worker? I hate it. Thanks, Austin. But if you don't like tea, first you need to identify like what you don't like about it. If you don't like it because it's bitter, you're just drinking the wrong kinds of tea. For someone who really likes gentle flavors, but is afraid of the bitterness and is afraid of oversteeping it, try white tea. Almost any white tea, you can't go wrong. But if you like the stronger flavors but don't like the bitterness, ooh, hey, that was quick. You could probably go with a flavored oolong. Like, there's a strawberry oolong that I like. It's an oolong with just a little bit of strawberry in it. Not chunks. Would I classify myself as a tea snob? No. I don't care enough. Sensitive to bitterness and tannins, so tea is hard to get into. White tea. Yeah, bitter tea is usually a mark of wrong preparation. Although, oh, that's a story. Let me start making this tea and let me tell you guys a story. Let's do this for 35 seconds. Okay, 40 total. I'll start it, and we'll see how this goes. We'll make a couple of cups. We're making very small amounts each time, just half a cup. So we can try things out like this. No worries. Right. So the story... I got this tea at a tea convention, and there was someone that was making tea in this big bowl with a gigantic spoon, and there was, like, he just dumped leaves in there. So many leaves in this thing. And like, any time that the water got low, he just added more water. And Oh my god. It was so bitter. I remarked to him that it was smoker's tea. It's okay to get a little bit of the leaves in there as long as you drink it quick. The problem is, if you get leaves in your cup... Oh gosh, that's coming out slow. Because the leaves are in the way. Oh boy, this is going to be interesting. This maybe was not ideal. Might have to come up with a new method. The tea leaves are too fine. So, he's making this tea in this bowl, and he's serving it with this little ladle that he has. And, oh my god. I couldn't handle it. I drank it to be kind. Okay, let's try this. Oh, that's interesting. It's got the vegetal sort of flavor that sencha usually does, but there's something else in there. It's like orange. It has like orange notes to it. I know, I'm saying the word notes like a huge asshole. But it's a very mild sort of orange flavor. It's in my defense about like the tea convention. Everyone, that was really funny because okay, there's a kind of a fun story about tea in America recently. Yeah, I am gonna have to switch. The problem is this is the only thing that I've got for steeping really besides my poison pot. It's oh no. You know what? I do have this isn't gonna work. I have a basket, and that might actually be better. So at this tea convention, every booth they had was pu'er, because for a long time, pu'er had some really strong import restrictions on it because it's fermented. And then they recently released a lot of these restrictions, so that suddenly the West was flooded with pu'er teas, and so everyone's obsessed with it right now. And the ironic thing is, I'm not that into pu'ers by default. Kukicha tends to have citrus flavor, so there might be stems in my sencha. Yeah, maybe. I'm not seeing any. Oh, wait a minute. There we go. Yeah, they did leave them in. Funny number is watching right now. Oh. Cheesecloth? I don't have any cheesecloth. I know, I'm like horrendously unequipped. Real tea lovers just eat the leaves straight. Yes. When is the next video going to be uploaded? When it's done. That's my philosophy at this point. The video needs as long as it takes. But it's not going to be much longer. I'm in the video editing phase right now. And we're going to be bringing on my composer very, very shortly. In fact, now might be a good time. This isn't ideal, but we're going to keep using it because it's, well, maybe I should get my basket. That'd be kind of goofy putting the basket in here. We could try it. You know what? Screw it. This is going to look stupid, but we're going to try it. Give me just a moment. Uh-oh. 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 It's really tricky getting out of this setup because I've got the table in front of me, I've got my mic stand to my left, and I can only turn my chair part of the way. So it's really tough to get out. I'm really surrounded here. Gudmundur. Gudmundur Thor Carlson. Good name. Good solid name. Asking if I'm a elite gamer. I'm a PC gamer for the most part, though I do have a Switch. By the way, if you give me a super chat, I'm extremely thankful. But I don't want to interrupt the stream, so I'm going to be reading those at the very end. Don't worry, I'll get to them. And yeah, the basket is kind of cute, isn't it? It's just really convenient. I'll have it right here at the ready. But right now... Oh god, my feet are in a weird position. Okay, we're gonna do this. My feet are gonna go underneath the table, and we're going to hope that this works. It is a very constricted setting, but it's okay. Headphones on. Let's get Ryan in here. Hey Ryan, you there?
Oh, hey Fred.
How you doing?
Yeah, I've not been following the stream, so you might have to clue me in where we are.
Don't worry about it. I was just saying that my setup was really restrictive and it's hard to get out of it. So when I get up, I look like a geriatric man, like geriatric old 80-year-old man.
I want to say you look like that normally, but that's too cool. I think I should tell a story.
But you just said it.
I said it with a caveat, but it's not true. Shall I tell a story of the poison pot?
Yes. So FYI, this pot, the poison pot, was given to me by Ryan. He's in here right now. Ryan, why don't you tell the world why you tried to poison me?
Yeah, you've been like shitting on me the last few days.
I'm teasing you. God damn it.
There's no nuance on the internet. But... Okay, so I think we were talking about like Christmas or something. I'm not drinking tea. I'm having it's my birthday, so I'm having a birthday.
Yeah, right. Happy birthday, Ryan. Everyone in chat, give Ryan a happy birthday.
Trying to embarrass me now.
Yeah.
Okay, the death pot. So you were like, I was like, hey, because we met at Christmas actually in person.
Yes, we did.
And I was like, okay, Fred, can I get you anything? I'm in China. I know you love tea, and you were like, get me one of those pots, Yixing pots, and I was like, okay, sure, I'll see what I can do. And I was like, China is really easy to get ripped off. It's really, really easy to get, fooled by a fake product. They can be incredibly convincing.
Right.
And I was like, okay, well, next week I'm going to Taiwan, where I think I'm less likely to be fooled, but I'm not entirely sure. And what I did was I did all the research. I Googled it. I did everything I could possibly think of to make sure the people I was going to send knew what kind of pot to get. And so I gave it to these Taiwanese guys, my partner's parents, and they went off and they went to Jiufeng, which is the place that inspired the setting for Spirited Away, the Studio Ghibli. And they went there, they came back with this pot, and I was like, this is perfect. It can't be fake. It must be real. Like the guy, he makes his own tea. He must know what he's talking about. It turns out he makes his own tea from like grass he finds and moss. Apparently that's a thing.
I've never heard of that.
So
oh, whoops.
It's like 9,000 kilometers to meet you, and it survives, which is kind of a miracle. And so finally, I give it to you. It's in one piece, and you take it home, and it gets home in one piece. And I'm like, wonderful. And then like last week, you sent me a message and said, pot's probably fake and it's poisonous.
Well, I'm not sure if it's poisonous. Oopsie daisy. Sorry, I just realized I need to do this. Oh, whoops. We're okay. We're okay. Right, so the trick is that I learned that Yixing pots from a certain year were from pots from a certain year had a toxic chemical in it, And you said that that this pot was gotten at an antique store, but you said it wasn't that old. I'm like, oh no, that puts it right in the range of the barium chloride. Like, that's the chemical. And
Yeah, the lady said it was from the 90s. Apparently.
right. So like, I'm freaking out. So I go and check, and one of the dudes is like, this is definitely not a Yixing pot. And so on one hand, I was like, that's kind of a relief, because I'd rather be able to use it if I can. But I wasn't that worried about it being Yixing or not. It'd be nice, but it's like, it's a really lovely pot. But now the question is, what is it? And it's like this mystery pot. I'd love a little flag that I could stick in it now with a question mark.
But you've already used it.
I have used it.
You've already used it, and you're not dead, so it can't be that poisonous.
Oh yeah. You know that chronic poisoning is a thing. Is it chronic poisoning? It's the opposite of acute poisoning. Not obtuse poisoning. Nobody gets smart.
I'm no expert. I don't know. Slow poisoning.
Anyway, you get the idea.
So, despite my best intentions, I could have poisoned you.
No, maybe probably not. It's a beautiful pot. Like, that's something that everyone was saying, is like, this pot is beautiful, right? Everyone thought it was really nice. And there are more fake Yixing pots than there are actual Yixing pots, so it's really not that surprising.
Yeah, definitely, because there's like one factory in all. Well, I think there's two now. There was originally one factory in all of China that made the pots, and then I think they set up a second one during the 80s. Mm. Maybe that's the poison pot factory is the second one.
It might be. There were certain labels, right?
Yeah.
That would have that. Okay. We're going to try the second steep. And we're going to see how this goes. I think that 125 was just the right length of time to steep it. And because the leaves got stuck, it caused a problem. Well, we're going to try it again. I need to figure... we're going to have to just use the little basket next time. It doesn't go in there now.
I spent sort of years of my career with Chinese business people trying to win me over by giving me tea. And
yeah.
I've never been a big tea drinker at all.
Well, you gave me... well, your partner gave me some wonderful tea. You know what? I kind of want to go and unwrap one to show the stream, because it's so cool looking.
You go ahead, Fred. I don't know if I can be entertaining in your absence, but I'll do my best.
Okay. All right, let's see. Okay, you can do it. I believe in you.
Well, I bought you the tray as well.
You did? Yeah, this tray is also from Ryan, everyone. Like, I mentioned that on the first day, but he got me the pot, he got me the tea tray, which I use all the time now, and he also got me the special tea that I'm going to go show you. It is weird. All right, be right back. Entertain them.
I'll do my best.
Tell them about the production process for the music on the Temple OS episode. Because you really made that episode.
Okay. So
tell them about how you got copyright claimed.
If you go.
Uh-oh, did we lose him?
Made. So it had like this incredibly.
You cut out. You cut out.
Oh, sorry. Well, I'm in the countryside. It's.
Oh, okay. Here, go again while I go get the tea.
So Temple OS was made during this like crazy time when I was traveling all over the world, and I like different parts of it. One part was written in the UK, another part was written in China, another part was written in like Kuala Lumpur, and it kind of had this very uneven writing process, but it kind of fitted the Temple OS episode, because the Temple OS episode kind of goes from curiosity to sort of darkness and fear and anger and paranoia to tragedy. and it meant that I was kind of writing the curiosity parts in the UK. I was writing the fear and darkness in China, and I was in Kuala Lumpur to write the sad ending music. So that's the story of Temple OS. But it sounds like Fred isn't back yet, so I might have to waffle for like another 10 seconds. What else can I say? Well, me and Fred we made a CD together, an EP, not a CD. It's not been released in a physical form as a download. And so what we did was, Fred recorded his hurdy-gurdy playing, and he sent me these improvisations, and I wrote music around them. And that's a new EP that's just come out. So if you look on Fred's Twitter timeline, you'll be able to see that recording. And I'm really hoping Fred is back by now.
Yes, I just got back.
Oh, thank God.
We're good. What did I miss? What did I miss?
I started talking about Answerer, our CD.
Oh,
our
yes,
recording.
yes.
Because I went through Temple OS and I was talking about how I'd been in it was like written when I was all over the world. It was really quite a weird production process.
Mm.
And then I was like, well, shit, Fred's not back and I've got to kill time now. So we recorded a CD together, but we don't live near each other. We live like thousands of miles apart. So
Right.
send me the recordings.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember the one thing I do remember really clearly about making the CD was you were terrified, right?
Yeah, I recognize that I'm not like amazing at the hurdy-gurdy, and so I was like, oh God, people are going to be hearing my playing and it's front and center. I'm a lot more confident when I'm just speaking. I feel like my speaking voice is like strong enough. But the gurdy is something that's just how I am with music. I'm very self-conscious about my music. I'm fine with anything else at this point, but my music, like anything relating to it, is just
I think it's like particularly tough with the CD because it's improvisation.
Yes, it all except all but one of the tracks were improvisation.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, I wrote one of them.
You gave me sheet music for one of them, but like it took me forever to record them because I was so embarrassed. Every time I recorded, I'm like, this is trash, this is trash, this is trash. You
were even more terrified about the notated movement. You put that off for like months.
I did. It was bad. It was really bad.
It's fine. We're through it now, and we can reflect on our hard work.
I think you did a fantastic job. It really was your brainchild. In the end, like it was yours, and I'm glad that I could help it.
Well, it was an experiment. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And it worked out pretty good. So we can maybe do more in the future. I am quite proud of it. I don't. All my other CDs have been released by other people. So when I have a CD made, it's normally made by a group of musicians.
Right.
And they record it. And like even my fucking guitar pieces don't even have my name on them. It just has the name of the piece on them. And my name's on the back of the CD. So this is like one of the first CDs I've released, which is like mine and yours, obviously. But it has my name on the front, and it feels like I own it. It's on my own Bandcamp page,
Yeah, it definitely is yours. I make no claims of ownership to it. It's just like I'm just really glad that I could help you make something. Because it was all his direction. Like he gave me direction for what to improvise, and I did my best to interpret it.
No, it wasn't though, because you did the first part all on your, like, as do something exciting for me, and you
right, yeah. Because I was, you really wanted me to explore the different weird sounds that you could get out of it. So I'm like, making percussive sounds. I'm playing a lot with like the clacking and like scraping noises.
Yeah.
Because like you can do a surprising amount with the hurdy-gurdy given its mechanical nature.
And you did some things I didn't imagine could be done with the instrument.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, I'm not particularly well versed in hurdy-gurdy music.
Mm-hmm.
My first experience it was literally writing the music for the hurdy-gurdy episode.
Right. Yeah, yeah, and then for that one, like, I just played Stella Splendens for the example.
Oh, really? Okay. Yeah, I think if there's one criticism with that episode, is it that it does need more hurdy-gurdy.
It does need more hurdy-gurdy. Like, I mentioned, like, I was really nervous about, like, playing the gurdy. Oh my god, the tea literally is just not coming out. Oh, and it's just dumping
It's the cursed
leaves.
teapot again.
No, this isn't the teapot. Now this is just the sencha being a bitch. This is normal bitchiness.
You sure it's not the cursed teapot?
I'm sure. Or maybe the curse isn't with the teapot. Maybe the curse is with you.
Oh shit!
Your presence
but, like,
is causing this. Let me see.
I can't think of anything else that's cursed.
Oh, I have an idea. Here's what I'm gonna do. I know that this is going to like ruin the last steep, but this is what we're gonna do anyway. We're gonna do this. Haha! I got it into the basket. That was. This is so bad. Oh my god.
I can't see what you're doing, Fred. So I have to.
I poured a little bit of water into the cup, into the steeper, and like just to get the leaves out and into the basket.
It's okay.
This is going to be subpar, and I know that, but I'll be damned if I don't use all of these leaves. Right, I was gonna share the special tea.
Oh yeah. Sorry, go for it.
Yeah. No,
sorry,
it's all good.
I kept talking.
No, you're fine. Okay, this is the label on the front says, or on the back says, gorgeous and charming.
Well, that's you through and through, Fred.
Ah.
Shucks. God damn it! The bromance is going to explode in the.
It is, yeah.
Again.
It always happens. It always happens inevitably. Yeah, tradition, culture, specially selected and processed from the finest and tender raw tea leaves. Does Bruno Mars is gay? Oh my god. Okay, right.
Yes.
So remember yesterday. Yeah, I need to tell everyone. Yesterday I read the entirety of the Does Bruno Mars is gay article, and someone made a fake down the rabbit hole with it, and it's amazing.
It may be the best down the rabbit hole shit post ever. And there's been some good down the rabbit hole shit posts.
Oh, absolutely. Like the shit posting is, like, just occasionally it's incredible. Okay, so it comes in these little bags, and if I open it up, I'm gonna move this real quick. If I open this up, oh, I've got the Wings of Redemption dual music going while I open this.
I can't hear the music. I think it would be too weird if I had my own music in the background while I'm talking.
Okay, come on. There we go. All right, so I open it up like this. And then the tea is wrapped, further packaging. So it's in here. If I open this up, come on, I want to do this without destroying the packaging because I want to repackage it. Okay, I might just have to undo this. No, here we go. So check this out. This is the tea. What they've done is they've, whoopsie daisy. Nope, yep, there it all goes. Nope, good. So this is pu'er that has been stuffed into a tangerine, and unfortunately the tangerine's falling apart. It's quite brittle, so it's not that surprising. But yeah, it's really wild. I'll go ahead and leave it out so people can look at it. It's cool. Oh. But yeah, the point is you... Huh?
Is it your favorite tea now?
It's not my favorite tea, but it's cool. And it's really fun.
It's pretty strange. I've never seen that before. Even in China, I never saw it.
Yeah, it's wild, right? It's... I'm saving it. You know what? I actually do want to package it away again because I don't want it to like dry out and oxidize. I'm okay showing
says
it.
It's not tea, it's a mini baby bell. That makes me happy.
It's really cute. But yeah, this stuff is really... It's delicious. I tried it with Corey and Elise. And I got a glass teapot, actually, to make it in.
Non-cursed tea.
Yeah, it's just all glass, so you can see the tea being steeped. It's cool. I'm probably going to use it one of these days. It makes 3 cups. I'll use it just so people can see it. but it's really
Yeah,
special.
you should definitely use it in an episode, in a stream.
In a stream, yeah, I will. What brand is it? God knows. It's Tradition
don't even
Tea
know.
Gift.
Because I get given so much fucking tea, and like I don't know what to do with this stuff. I have cupboards full of tea, from people who are essentially trying to rip me off. Because if somebody gives you something as a gift, it's never really a gift, you know.
Right.
It's to turn your attitude towards them, to make you take a positive approach to that.
Right.
And
yeah.
that's so much more true when you're involved in business and people are like, oh, we want to use you for this thing, have a gift, and
Right.
your guard is down,
It makes it harder to turn them down.
Yeah, I'm immune to it now, but I still have shitloads of tea.
CJ Hunt is talking about the flowering teas. Those are a fun little gimmick. I don't know, like, the whole concept is kind of weird because you have all the different leaves are going to have different ideal steep times unless it's made in particular. They're made to be pretty, and they are pretty. I don't know if the tea would be good. I've never tasted it, but I am dubious. This tea is completely ruined. The problem is that a bunch of the leaves got into the cup, and so those leaves have been steeping constantly. Goodbye.
The Probert curse strikes again.
You did this to me.
You're one of the few people I've ever worked with, Fred, who can actually say my last name properly. With like OSW Review, it's become like a meme that they can't say my name properly.
Oh yeah, no, it's because the curse has been passed on to me. Now it's Knudsen, Knudsen. Just anything but Knudsen, right? Internet historian teases me with that. He's out and out said, it's like, I know how to pronounce your last name. I just say it Knudsen to bother you.
I had a question for you, Fred, actually.
Sure.
Well, when did you start learning the hurdy-gurdy? How old were you? If you don't mind me asking. Well, that's maybe too personal because it could give your age away.
No, it was only a few years ago.
Okay, so you can say that without giving your age away. Great.
Right, yeah.
Because I know your age is one of the most closely guarded secrets in all of YouTube.
It's not that I care that much. It's just fun for people not to know.
Because one of the things I thought was like really awesome, making the recording together was really cool, was that like you did it. Like you're not a, you didn't study music when you were young, right?
I did to a certain extent, but like probably not, like just choir, right? Not a lot of theory, not a lot of practice with instruments.
I understand. And you just you go for it, and that's really commendable. And I was reflecting on that this week. Bill Withers, passed away, and one, the great songwriter, written two of the greatest songs of the last sort of 50 years. And when he started music, he was 29, and I'm just absolutely mesmerized by that, because I always thought of myself as kind of a latecomer to music. I was about 13, 14 when I decided I wanted to write music. And I just kind of did it. And I always felt like, even when I was at university, I felt like I was kind of on the back foot compared to other people.
That's so much better. I just used the basket and it works so much better. Continue.
But as I got older, I've realized, there's a kind of state of mind. I kind of put that on myself, that I always felt like I was a step behind other people because I started when I was older. But in many ways, it doesn't really matter. You just get experience over time.
Yeah, it really does not matter what age you start.
I see a lot of people and they have a lot of anxiety, particularly in music, about how old they were when they started learning or how old they are now, and they're making music and they're not getting success so far. And it's not necessarily something to worry about.
Yeah, there are only a few things that you can only do at a young age, and most of them are sports. Like, if I wanted to get into dance now, it's way too late. There's no way I'd ever be able to do anything. Like, I'm past the point. Like, I am too old for it like, I am where someone would be at, like, the end of their dance career, right? Like, like, I don't know, where is that age, actually? I might be completely not.
You're a dancer, but then you become a choreographer, right? You
I think
tell dancers what to do.
that's usually how it goes, isn't it?
Dancing's a particularly punishing career. Working on like intensely hard floors all the time, and there's people the lengths dancers I've seen go to keep their weight down. I remember there's an incredible documentary. Oh shit, okay, I can't remember what the name of the piece of dance is about. But all they do is smoke and drink coffee. And you never saw these dancers eat throughout the entirety of this documentary. It's terrifying. I'm going to try and remember that name of that dance now.
Inform me. Time for you to go down the rabbit hole.
It was Rose's Dance Rosa, which is a dance by... I've got all the names here, but I can't remember. It doesn't tell me the name of the person who did it.
It's kind of fun seeing people try to guess my age in chat, actually.
Yeah, they're all wrong.
Every single one of them.
Person's right.
And even like the ones who are the person who got it right was the person who said I'm a 2,000-year-old owl.
It's true.
That's the only person who got it right. I was created in a lab 8 years ago. He escaped and now he makes YouTube. Oh, that's fun. I like that. Oh, man. I'm just remembering when I was little, when I played pretend with my friends, I remember that I'm just seeing like the created in a lab. That was kind of my character's backstory. I was, edgy when I was little. And the whole idea was that he had these spikes coming out of his palms that ideally would be used for feeding. He could spit acid out of them. And then the way that he fed, like he didn't eat normally anymore. What he did was, it was like a spider where he'd jab it into the person's abdomen. This is elementary school, by the way. He'd jab it into the person's abdomen and fill them with acid to like melt their innards and then drain it out back through the spike.
Is like proto-persona.
Like it would like the spike was trisected where it would open up. So he'd stick it inside someone. It would open up. It was just wild. That was me in elementary school. That was his fighting method. I should mention. He had projectiles. He could spit the acid, but then he also, if he got into melee range, that was where the real horror began. I don't know where I got that. I don't know where I got that concept.
I remember when I was like about 5, I caught the scene in The Thing where the man's head turns into a spider, and it for like forever traumatized me.
Right. Yeah.
And I think I grew up a bit. I'm not actually scared of spiders now, but when I grew up, I was terrified of spiders because of that one scene in The Thing. And I think I'm over it now because I love The Thing. I think it's one of the best movies. But,
it's a great movie.
It completely traumatized me. This guy's head falling off and like spiders legs popping.
Yeah. I had a similar thing. And by the way, I make no claims that concept is like a good idea. It's elementary school me being an edgelord. Don't worry. I'm like, it was definitely super edgy. But no, I had a similar experience. There was like a movie called Killer Ants or something, where it was a really schlocky movie, but it terrified me when I was little, and it gave me like a fear of ants for a very long time. There was a scene where the ants, like grabbed someone, and these are like pretty small ants, right? These are just small ants, but they're coordinated. They grab someone as he's still alive and pull him down into the anthill. And it was like, the visual was just like, oh god.
Are you sure it wasn't like a scene from Crystal Skull you're thinking of?
No. I swear this was when I was like in elementary school. I'm like, I'm having all these traumatizing memories from elementary school coming back. You're doing this to me.
Oh, sorry, Fred. I feel like we should talk about like Den Rabbit Hole behind the scenes, but it's kind of like the sort of story of making Den Rabbit Hole is kind of a bit dull in itself. And you've always said that. You've always said that making Den Rabbit Hole is probably the dullest production process out of anything.
Probably, just from the outside, right? I love it. I find it endlessly fascinating. You know this, right? I find crazy things, and I'm like, holy shit, Ryan.
Yeah, Ryan, you got to hear this fact, and I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? And it's like you present them without context as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like what does this relate to the story? Or you like assume I've remembered something you said to me like a month ago.
Yeah.
Like, what? No. I feel like one of the things that can't be overstated enough is how much research goes into the show.
Mm-hmm. It's the it's the largest
production cycle.
It's the majority of the production cycle, yeah.
And it you know, to be fair, you do find you constantly find things that aren't, easily found. You can't just Google some of the things you find out.
Yeah. Oh, can I share, like, this is probably the most ridiculous it's ever gotten. But the way that my because I have a research assistant this time because I need one because a lot of the sources are in a language in which I am not super familiar or fluent. So they were looking for a book. I think I explained this in another stream, in yesterday's stream. For those who missed it, they found a bunch of sources that kept referencing this one book, and they were like, okay, I got to get my hands on this book maybe. It might have something good in it. So they asked their local library, and the library said, we don't have it. Try, like, this other library in this major city. So they called this library, and they said, we don't have it. Try this college library. So they called the college library, and they said, we don't have it, but let's check our records. Oh, yeah, this other college that is right next to you has it. Call them. So they called that library, and they were like, oh, yeah, the person who wrote this book is amazing. And they were able to get it on interlibrary loan. It was just them desperately trying to hunt this down.
I think that's as ridiculous as it's got. You've taken books before to research.
Yeah.
But
that's nothing new.
Getting into library loan was, it's tough work. Even finding, getting, even bothering to go to a library is kind of quite a unique experience for a YouTuber. But yeah, I can't overstate it enough. It's like 75% of the production cycle is you researching stuff.
Yeah, the narration and the video editing. The video editing is the easy part, frankly.
Yeah. Music is fairly quick to put together. I tend to pride myself on being a very quick turnaround composer.
Yes.
Though I will admit I haven't made any music today because it's my fucking birthday.
It's your fucking birthday. Take the day off. And like, it's at the point as well where like, there's almost no way you're gonna slow down production. Because like I still need to send you some of the narration. I'm sorry about that.
Yeah.
My focus has been horrendous this last, like, just since the quarantine started, frankly.
It's frustrating for everybody, and I think most people in the chat can appreciate that.
Yeah.
Well, this is probably the first day I've taken off in maybe years now. I'm just thinking about it.
God, yeah.
It wasn't for your video. It was for Atrocity Guide's video.
Yeah. So, FYI, Ryan made the music for Atrocity Guide's newest video. I think I mentioned that yesterday too.
Yeah, and like this is so ridiculous in retrospect, but I broke my arm in a bicycle crash.
Oh my god! And then you just kept working that same day. I was Ryan. I was actually legitimately mad at you. Take care of my friend, damn it.
And I was like, Yeah, it was bad. Because initially I didn't think I'd broken my arm. I thought I'd just fucked my arm up badly. And I was going to sit in the road and I was like, okay, this is embarrassing sitting in the road. I'm going to go cycle into the office and I'm going to write music. And I sat it for 2 hours and I was like, you know what? My arm's going to get really, really painful now. And I was like, I can't cycle home. We've got to take the metro home. And I got on the metro. And I was like, okay, feeling like I'm going to pass out here.
Yeah.
And then I went to the hospital. They gave me like extremely strong painkillers and like these drugs to stop the inflammation, which I could only take for 3 days or it would kill me. And then I went home and kept working on it.
Ryan.
But you know, it's what I do. It's the sort of light in my life is writing music. You know.
Yeah, I know. I don't know. I guess I'm the same way with Down the Rabbit Hole. It's like things are going to shit. It's like, well, I'm just working.
I feel like I have so much to do, and
you do.
Like,
you keep your plate
not so
very
much
full.
Well, it's not so much. I have so much to do. You know, I have deadlines coming up. It's I have so much I want to make.
Mm.
And I have to go all out to have time to make the things I want to make and to make the things I have to make.
Right.
For my living.
Yeah, it's kind of a balance, right? The problem that I've always had is whenever I want to work on some other project, I'm like, oh, but I could be putting that time into Down the Rabbit Hole.
Yeah.
Always that's the eternal struggle.
But I think I'd like to see you do different projects, and it's nice to see you doing, you know, more unusual things there.
Yeah, I mean, like the QuaranTea streams, it's easy, right? The Warrens has also been like something, you know, we sit down, we do a little bit of research, we sit down and record, and it's comparatively low effort. And more so than low effort, because it's probably still just medium effort in the grand scheme of things. I don't know, but it's low time commitment. That's the really big thing.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, making your own thing's quite tough, and I think one of the most difficult parts is being able to kind of reflect positively on what you've done.
Mm-hmm.
And sort of feel you've made, you know, a real achievement. Because that, you know, you have 90 days of work and then one day of feeling great and then you're back at it.
Right.
Also, Talons, thank you for the happy birthday.
Aw.
I saw the super chat. I've been meaning to say that for a little while. I missed the question though. It asked me why.
Oh, I can scroll up and check.
No, it's fine. Let's
Okay.
keep going.
Okay. Yeah, we're gonna check out the super chats at the end anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, Fred, over to you.
Oh, shit, I'm like thinking about making another cup.
Okay, go for it.
The tea is so astringent that it's like, I might need a minute before I make another cup. Although I'm sure a lot of it has to do with the fact that this little steeper kind of ruined it. I was worried that was going to happen, but I figured it wasn't going to be nearly as big of a problem as it ended up being.
Yeah.
Oh,
I feel like I didn't do a good job plugging how good Atrocity Guide is. I mentioned Atrocity Guide and then I wasn't like, oh, by the way, Atrocity Guide is absolutely incredible.
Yeah, she's
one
fantastic.
Of the best series on the internet.
Oh yeah, I've mentioned multiple times on these streams already. It's like, wow, Atrocity Guide is really, really good.
Everybody, it's been mentioned every stream, but everybody should go see Atrocity Guide's new video.
Yeah, it's incredible. Like she's upped her game so much.
Yeah, I'm so impressed. I'm so proud to be involved in it.
Yeah, it was cool. It's been cool giving her feedback and sort of helping her grow too.
Yeah.
And yes, someone in chat said I need a Guy Wan. I know. Trust me. Actually, if anyone knows where to get a Guy Wan, please let me know somehow. If there's a good place to get a decent Guy Wan. It doesn't have to be like the best thing ever or super fancy. A Guy Wan. Let's see. What am I going to do with these leaves? Because I've just been using the same leaves. I think I'm just going to dump them in here. Oh god, is that even going to work? Wow, it made like a pancake of tea leaves. This isn't good. Okay,
It's a
whatever.
comment just saying that you remind somebody of Niles Crane, and that's really that's really spot on.
Oh god damn it. No, it's not going in there. God damn it. I'll figure out something with this. Here, you know what? There's a hole. Goodbye. I'll deal with you later. That's the great thing about... No, that's the best thing about these tea trays is, like, you dump the leaves, you dump the tea, and, like, you just dump it out later. It's fantastic. Here we go. Not a big deal.
Arcaxon in the chat.
Eat them. Eat them. Eat them.
Who made my website, I should say.
Yes. Yeah, I did. Argaxon, for those of you who don't know, I mentioned it before. God damn it. Jeans. That's why we use jeans, friends. No, Argaxon has been making graphic design for Down the Rabbit Hole for quite a long time now. When did they start? I think they started with the what was it? The Final Fantasy House video? Because that came before the Furries video, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
I think one of the things people don't realize is, like, when you make something like a music or a documentary or something, it's really easy to forget, like, details of it that other people might remember. Like, people are like, "Oh, I really like that track you did for Fredrik," and I was like, did I do that track? Is that a thing? I get it all the time. Like, I find people who know more about my music than me. It's a really strange experience.
See, like, my experience with Down the Rabbit Hole is very different, where someone might bring up a topic and be like, "Oh man, that thing that happened and that was crazy," and then my response will be, "I know," and then I start going into, like, even more deeper detail that I didn't include in the video, just because I have a memory for it and I spend so much time with these topics.
Maybe I'm a bit more kind of what's the word? Discombobulated compared to you.
Well, I mean, I think it's kind of comparing apples to oranges at this point, right? I feel like with your creative works, they're more abstract, and so it's easier to sort of lose track of them.
I think that's a fair comment. Music is an pretty abstract medium. It's not entirely abstract, but it's pretty abstract medium.
It is, yes.
It's what people would have called a plastic art before.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I will say that there are times, there was a time recently where someone was like, "Hey, I remember this story that you sent me all these years back," and I'm like, they're giving me plot points, and I'm like, I don't remember this at all.
That was the first stream, Fred.
Yeah, that was the first stream. Yeah, someone brought that up, and I'm like, I have literally no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah. Well,
It was kind of trippy, actually.
Maybe it was your PlanetSide 2 stream recently.
Was that the one?
Shit.
Yeah,
See,
that's right.
I can't remember. This is the problem.
No, that was it. It was the PlanetSide 2 stream where, oh, whoopsie daisy. I need to actually, like, heat the water up properly. This is kind of interesting. I have another jug of tea. Or not tea, water. So I'm going to add the extra water to cool the water down so then I can heat it up to where I need it to be. Okay, perfect.
I'm really conscious my chair might be really creaky. I don't know if it's sounding...
No, it's fine.
Okay. Because in here it sounds like Fangorn Forest or something. It's just creaking noises coming from my chair.
I'm just making sure that the music doesn't drown you out. I think we're good.
What piece is it?
This one is Jelly Owl Morton.
Oh shit! I forgot how bad the titles are.
I know, right? They're all just owl
They're
puns.
all terrible.
All of them.
Yeah.
I see them and I'm like, oh god.
And all the Atrocity Go ones are terrible puns.
Are they? Hold on.
Well,
I'm going to go look right now. I'm looking right now. I'm going to read them out to you all. So, for reference, Atrocity Guide's video is about the new, what was it? The wave of superheroes that were patrolling the streets.
Yeah, specifically about Phoenix Jones. There's a lot of fire puns.
Yes. So there's Unmasked. There's The People's Villain.
These are more serious titles.
Yeah, there's Trailblazer, Smolder of Justice, Senseless. Like a lot of these all are a lot more dignified than like
But
most of the titles you
Phoenix
give me.
Jones one, the Phoenix Jones episode is kind of quite serious.
It is.
There's a lot of very bad things that happened in that story. It's a bit like Tempo. Some of the Tempo S.
Yes, I was about to say.
Titles.
Yep, I was about to say the exact same thing. The Temple OS music tracks are titled a little bit more straight-paced.
Just from a personal point of view, it's a very sad story, and I don't want to make fun at the serious moments,
Right.
Those are, like I said, the story of the Temple S story kind of. I said it has three kind of parts.
Right.
It has the curiosity, then the darkness, then the tragedy.
Yes.
And I think the tragic part I can't let myself have fun with. It's got to be serious. It's got to be straight.
This smells better. Okay, I think I got it right this time. The basket was the way to go. I've learned this day. What I really need is a Gaiwan.
My favorite question in the chat says, "Who is Felix Jones?"
I appreciate that a lot, actually. The sort of innocence. By the way, now that I've brewed this tea correctly, it is delicious. Oh my goodness.
I'm on my second beer. I've had 2 Belgian beers. I had a triple. Oh my god.
Oh, this is like I wasn't wild because I screwed it up before, but this is excellent. Ichigo Trading and Travel Company, their Ayumi High Grade Sencha. This is fantastic. Yeah, this is good sencha.
I'm drinking it. I had a triple Camelette. Is that correct pronunciation? I used to live with somebody from Belgium, so I'm really, really paranoid about my pronunciation of Belgian words. And then I had I can't say that. Never mind.
Okay.
But yeah, good birthday beers. I'm having a nice birthday, and I couldn't think of anything better on my birthday than to spend it with you, Fredrik.
Oh, Ryan.
Romance meter goes to 99%. Go ahead, Fred.
So this is actually something I struggle with, right? Because you're such a sweetheart most of the time, and but you're also very sarcastic. And so sometimes you'll tease me about something, and I'll be like, "Oh no," and I'll be really worried that like I bothered you or I said something wrong, and every time you have to clarify because and I always feel so embarrassed every time.
It's just it's the human experience, Fredrik. I'm not a particularly angry person, and so
No, you're not. Neither am I. I got angry at you for not taking care of yourself. It's like, treat my friend well. Be nice to my friend.
Yeah. You mean me?
Yes. You are the friend.
Yeah. I was reflecting because you obviously met me and my fiance Anne, and I was like, we met and we went to this museum, and I was like, man, that was a really good day, wasn't it? Wasn't it a great day, Han? And she was like, Ryan, we spent the whole day looking at rocks in the museum. I was like,
they were good rocks, though.
I was like, some of those rocks were from my hometown, like within 100 miles of my hometown.
No, same for me. I was like, not my hometown, but I just like I recognized the names, and I'm like, wait a minute, it's like
you were like, there's a rock here from Portland.
Or like there was a rock. I saw Portland. I saw like Seattle. I'm Pacific Northwest. So like Seattle. I think the Rogue River was the one that set me off. Actually, that was the one where I was like, wait a minute. The Rogue River, because like the Rogue River is a big name, sort of in the Pacific Northwest. With like I've paddled the Rogue River before in a kayak. I love kayaking. Just by the way, kayaking is like the absolute perfect.
I enjoy.
Oh, you're breaking up a little bit. Well, while we wait for him to come back, it's sort of a balance between sweet and savory. I'd say it was so like the bitterness from the first steep is still on my tongue, so it's a little rough.
Did you lose me then, Fred?
I did, yes. I described
sorry.
the Sentra in your absence.
Yeah, countryside internet is not good.
Yeah, I gotcha. They use a lot of just like massive Wi-Fi. They don't actually run cables out to the houses out there, do they?
It's we've got a wire, but it's wire. It's not fiber optic.
Okay, gotcha.
You know, it's like 1940s technology running our.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I had fucking dial-up for so many years. It pains me to this day.
I still remember those sounds.
That's sampled for the Temple OS episode.
Yes, you did use it in there. It was a really good creative option. I remember.
No, it's not. It's terrible.
Didn't you say that you
were terrible?
That you were saying like you really wanted an opportunity to use that sound in something.
Yeah, but it's stupid because Temple OS never had any connectivity. Like, I realized this afterwards.
Yeah, but he was still using the internet to connect with everyone, right?
Oh, come on.
That's
because I wanted to use it because I saw Temple OS and I was like, well, this is really 90s. And, you know, I when I think of 90s computing, I think of the dial-up sound. And I was like, I'm going to use the dial-up sound. It's in Night Vision. I remember the title.
Mm-hmm.
It's used in Night Vision, which is like a 14-minute track, I want to say. It's probably shorter than that.
It was long.
It's a whole it was like a big section of the whole episode.
Yeah.
Like the whole middle section of the episode's one track, which uses the dial-up sound.
With the Shepherd tone, yeah.
Shepherd tone, yeah.
Yeah, and that was what got you copyright claimed.
Well, I did, yeah, but like for about 5 seconds before, I was like, you can't copyright claim a Shepherd tone. You know?
Yeah.
And they accepted it and they just dropped the copyright claim. I think it was an automatic thing and the people were like, yeah, well, fucking...
Yeah. No, yeah, automatic claims are very aggressive a lot of the time for music.
I get my own music claimed from me.
Yeah, that...
and
I get that.
And it was claimed... It was claimed for myself. It's like Ryan Probert has claimed your video. Because some of my music is released through like labels and they will automatically do it. You know, I don't do it with like, I would never do it with your music because it would absolutely fuck your videos.
Yeah.
But it's done automatically in some of my CDs. And when I want to put a trailer online, because people are like, oh man, I really wish I could buy some of your music. And I was like, check out this trailer. It's blocked immediately by the record label.
Right. That's actually something that some music producers have had to do. They've had to, like, in order to make sure that they're okay, they upload, like, the track that they use in their video, they upload separately on a different channel, and then use that second channel to copyright claim their own video to beat the system. It's a nightmare. It's a complete nightmare.
It is. It's
YouTube is a nightmare.
It's the automated world, you know. It's so infuriating.
Yes.
Oh, I forgot to tell you the best. I'm just thinking about it. The best part of the teapot story. So originally, I wasn't going to bring the teapot to you. I was going to post it.
Okay.
And I was in Shanghai at this point, and I went to the local post station in Shanghai, and there's something they call it a steel bowl job. I don't know if they call it in all of Asia, but they call it in China and Taiwan.
That sounds sexual.
No, a steel bowl. So it's like...
Yeah, I know, steel bowl. I know, I heard you correctly, steel bowl, but the job at the end.
Bowl, like a bowl you eat out of.
Yes, a bowl. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
It sounds like you're saying ball. I know I'm a bit West Country. I'm a bit rhotic. Yeah. So my English is not very
bowl. Here, a steel bowl. There you go.
Fred, we're getting bogged down here. Right, okay. So they say they're a steel bowl job. And it's like the idea that because their job is so secure, their bowl they eat out will never break. So if you drop your bowl, it'll break. If it's a steel bowl, it won't break.
Right, yes.
And so these people like don't give a shit. Do you know what I mean? Because they've had their job for 30 years. They sick of working in the post office, but they're never going to get fired.
Right.
And like, I go into this waiting room, and like the post office in China is kind of weird because there's a lot of like, I think social security stuff is done in there as well. and there's like a huge queue for this one desk, and then there's the post desk, which is really there's no queue at all. I go up, and the state of this guy, like if you try to make yourself look as scruffy as possible, you wouldn't look as scruffy as this guy. His tie was undone, his hair was a mess, his like 4 of his buttons were undone, and his jacket was ripped. And I go up to this guy and
Help!
like
The buttons on this coat, jacket, whatever, are done, and you can't even see them.
Yeah. But this, okay, so I go and I pop the package down, and he looks at it, and he goes, "Where you want to send this?" I go, "America." And he goes, he just like shakes his head. You can't see me shaking my head. He just shakes his head, and he goes, "Trade war, they'll break this." And he says, when they send the packages to America, they jump on them. And
what?
I was like, they jump on them before they get sent.
What? That's amazing.
They specifically mishandle packages going from China to America. And he was like, I was like, what should I do? And he goes, you can take it to UPS or FedEx or something. And I was like, I looked at my phone. It's like the nearest FedEx office was like 4 miles away, and I was like, oh, fuck this. I just went home.
Right.
But, customer service experience in Shanghai is quite something.
Mm-hmm. Oh, someone's saying YouTube's copyright system isn't broken. The world's is. Yeah, I agree. Copyright is absurd at this point. I'm very frustrated by it. But that's a whole other conversation.
Yeah.
I just wanted my opinion out there. Opinions. No, and then you you handed it to me when I saw you in person over Christmas, and I remember there was nowhere in my bags to I had to make some decisions, right? Because I desperately had to stuff things in. Oh God, getting back was a nightmare. I can't even begin.
Oh, I'm so sorry for. Oh yeah, you did mention it when you got back.
I
Yeah.
mentioned it. Yeah,
I'm
I
so
made my
sorry.
flight with literal because I came in overseas and they had one dude getting most of the people through the line. There were so many people that missed their flights. I can't even begin. And this was well before the quarantine, by the way.
Yeah.
Well before.
Of course. This was even before the news broke in China.
Yes.
I think.
Yeah.
People became aware there might be something going on in Wuhan in about late December, like very late December, and the Chinese government were kind of denying it at that point.
Oh yeah, because that's what they do.
The BBC were like, there must be like 60 cases of this disease because there are 4 people abroad with it.
Mm-hmm.
And so it wasn't like a big deal then. Do you know what I mean?
Right, yeah.
But yeah, I appreciate that experience, Frederick.
It was, it's. No, I'm sure you've experienced similar. Like American customs they just took forever, and so I made my flight with a few minutes to spare. But for that whole trip home, I recognized that I couldn't fit it into my carry-on bags. And then I also checked a bag, and I was really worried about that. There was no way that I was putting the poison pot in my checked bag. So what I did was the whole trip home, I wrapped it up and I put it in my kangaroo pouch in my hoodie. I carried the whole thing personally all the way. I cradled the thing the
like
whole
a little Joey
20 hour a little bit, the whole 20-hour trip back home.
Believe it or not, I've never had any trouble with customs in my life. Maybe if I go to America, I will. I never really had any trouble with immigration. Even going into China, I never had trouble with immigration. They just stamped me and sent me through.
Uh-huh.
I think they steal bowl jobs. They don't give a shit.
Mm-hmm. Right. You've been here for about an hour. And I know I'm desperately trying to keep the streams at a moderate length. They just keep going long.
We can keep going, Frederick.
We can keep
happy.
going.
I've got more beer.
Well, I mean, I could sit down and chat with you for forever.
Yeah.
That.
Yeah.
That was fantastic.
I feel like you're quite a unique... Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. You first.
I feel like you're quite an interesting person to work with because you have such a broad range of knowledge.
It's I
You
have an
know
eclectic
music.
range. I'll put it that
Yeah,
way.
exactly. And I feel like that makes the experience of working with you particularly stimulating.
Aw, I'm so glad. I feel so boring most of the time because my interests are so mundane, right? I play the hurdy-gurdy. I like making
Oh,
tea.
don't you
I
dare say
play
that's mundane. How
PC
dare you?
I make dry documentaries, for a living. That's
That is such a you can't even you fuck you, Fred. You're doing such a disservice to yourself, and you know you're doing a disservice to yourself.
no, I don't know.
Shut up.
I I've just had a lot of really weird. I really value unique experiences.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I also like a quiet life. That's just I like a quiet life most of the time, and then very suddenly I'll do something very out there. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I'll spend a month going on a road trip in a Vanagon in the middle of summer, and the Vanagon has no AC. That was a nightmare. That's a whole story. I'm probably going to chat with regular car reviews. He's going to be here, by the way, on one of the later QuaranTea streams. But like,
I don't know regular car reviews. I've never heard that. I've never seen their stuff. Sorry, Fred.
oh, he's fantastic.
I feel guilty.
No, you're fine. He does reviews of regular cars, and he's a profoundly funny person and a very interesting person to talk to. I chat with him a lot. It's a good time. He's a really sweet guy.
Yeah.
I have nothing but good things to say about Brian.
Almost the same name as me.
Now might be a good time to answer questions, like about Down the Rabbit Hole. And like usually
Yeah,
I keep answering questions after, but you're like kind of the most active other person on Down the Rabbit Hole, like in terms of production.
Sorry, Arcaxon.
Be great. Our Arcaxon, he's great, and he understands the aesthetic of the show quite well.
Yeah, he's really
absolutely. He was a viewer of the show long before he was making graphics for it.
As was I.
Yeah, and you too. You approached me originally,
Yeah.
and you remember my trepidation?
You were. Yeah, I'm still salty about it.
I was scared because I was talking with Jake about this in the first one. You remember that, right?
Yeah, of course.
I was saying I'm scared, because my name is top billing, and so I'm responsible for all of this. That's just the nature of being a leader, right? You share success, you solely take responsibility for like anything negative. So I'm like really spooked. Like it was spooky. And also, like, I just wasn't as familiar with you. I didn't know you at that point. And obviously that's changed. You're a good friend now. But
yeah, and like it was kind of weird because like I contacted you because I had this like it wasn't a regular job. I had a creative job, but
yes.
I was in a weird country and I had no time to make my own music, and I was like, I need some kind of outlet to make music here. And I was like, originally the first people I got in contact with to do music for was OSW Review.
Yes.
Because they were like such a cool group of people, and I was like, and I got in contact with the guy, and he was like, "Wow, that's really cool. Let's fucking do some music." And then I was like watching your stuff, and I was like, "Well, this guy's using Kevin MacLeod," and I was like, maybe I can do something, and that's what I did, and it worked out beautifully.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I've mentioned this a lot before, but I feel like you making music for Down the Rabbit Hole is part of what elevated it. Because I feel like my work is much greater than it used to be. I know that people like the old topics, right? And those topics can be very interesting. But I feel a lot more proud of what I've made over the last year and a half, right? And part of what's made it better is your music. Instead of having to pick from a more limited supply, you're making music that specifically fits what I'm going for, and it works so well.
Well,
People in chat
Well,
are wondering,
I'm just...
the rumor come out. Does Fredrik Knudsen is gay?
Well, I don't know.
Your music is really what I feel is one of the things that has made down the rabbit hole into something that I'm more proud of now.
I think it's one of those things where you work with other people on something and you can't help but feel proud of what you've done because you're so proud of the people you work with.
Absolutely. That's you kind of, it's a way to force yourself into being proud of something that you make. Because I'm never super proud of anything I make. I'm just like, okay, I've gotten better. Now, what can I improve? Like, I cannot tell you how many times I have watched over my old videos looking for things to fix. Like, I have spent a lot of time watching my videos and being like, okay, that works. I really like that. I'm going to make sure that I keep, doing things in this particular way, but this didn't work. And I keep getting more and more granular until where I'm at now.
I feel, maybe we have slightly different ways we feel about what we do. Because I'm always kind of, because music's kind of more collaborative. But the music I make not for Down the Rabbit Hole, but also for Down the Rabbit Hole, but for myself is more collaborative. Does that make sense?
Yes.
I work with a lot of musicians.
Just by nature of composition itself, it is collaborative.
Yeah. And it's not like film though. It's not restricting in terms of a budget so much as that, but you need people to work with. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So most of the time, if I've done a good piece, I sort of beam with pride because I'm so proud of the people who have realized it.
Yeah. Aw, I see. It's a good approach. It's a very
all
wholesome.
The bitterness and anger seeped out of me here, Fred. We're being really wholesome.
You got it out early.
Mention something that makes me angry, and we'll get into that.
Oh God. Okay, well now that we
could mention Kevin MacLeod.
Huh?
You can mention Kevin MacLeod. I was mainly pissed off about people saying Kevin MacLeod to me because it was like, no, it wasn't. It was Spyglass. People would always ask me if I'd written Spyglass, and I was just like, I gotta explain who Kevin MacLeod is now. Mm-hmm. But I'm kind of over that. It's a joy to be asked about the Down the Rabbit Hole music more these days.
Yeah, and by the way, I want to throw this out here. I'm going to mention it again later, but if you're interested, Ryan's offering music lessons. You still have slots open, right?
I have a few slots there.
Yeah, they've filled up really quick. They're just a few.
They've gone very hearteningly quickly.
Yeah, you had quite a few slots, and like I expected them to go quick, but like they've really filled up fast. So like if you're interested in like upping your composition game, if you want to learn more about music theory and composition, talk to Ryan. Go to Twitter. You know what? Hold on a second. I'm going to go to your Twitter real quick.
Probably
there you
got
are.
something really embarrassing on there.
Hey, there are the balloons. Hap Burf.
Go
here.
Thank you.
There's his Twitter. DM him. You have your DMs open, right?
Yep.
Yeah. DM him and ask him about the music lessons, because you're also doing trial lessons in case people want to try it out. But get in there like soon, because even without me mentioning them, they've been going really fast.
Yeah, I do teach microtonality. I'm famous for my use of microtonality. In fact, the Atrocity Guide video does use microtonality.
I love it.
It's the senseless part of the Atrocity Guide soundtrack is microtonal actually.
Mm.
And you can probably tell when you listen to it.
It's I feel like that's something that just has not been explored a ton in Western music, just based on so much of the tradition. Is that just me?
Here. It's because microtonal music's kind of so there's lots of different kinds of microtonal music. If you're talking Western classical music, but like
All the way from Syria. Hello. It's so.
There's kind
I'm
of-
sorry. I'm sorry to interrupt you. It's just so cool to me to hear people from all over the world watching my videos. It's so cool. Continue.
It's beautiful, isn't it? It's
It
really
is.
wonderful, and that's actually one of the most wonderful things about these lessons I've been doing. Is I meet people from all over the world get in touch with me and say, "Look, can we do an online lesson?"
Yeah.
It's really fascinating. Microtonality. Yeah, so it's like spectral music, which is very complicated to play and very. I think the biggest problem with microtonal music is it's hard to perform. Does that make sense?
Yes. Yeah, I get
Because
what you mean.
you're so used to not playing microtonal music, so playing microtonal music is particularly challenging.
Yeah.
And also bear in mind, like, people's kind of consciousness of music, particularly experimental music, takes about 40 years to catch up, if not more. Like, you know, I heard a really, I'm not going to say where it was from, but I heard a really obvious rip-off of the music from QuaranTea by Philip Glass, which is it's quite iconic. I mean, it's parodied by The Simpsons, wasn't it? In the Barney Rubble movie. Do you remember he made that like art movie about
Yes.
alcohol?
Yeah, I love it.
parody-
And then the prize was a lifetime supply of Duff beer.
yeah.
You're just like, just.
I'm a huge Simpsons fan. I think you are too, Fred.
I'm not a huge fan. I just grew up with a lot of like the
okay.
good Simpsons, right?
Yeah, obviously, and I'm a huge fan of it. But there is a QuaranTea parody.
One thing that I in the new video, The Simpsons has a reference to the subject of the new video. We can't say we can't say what it is. I didn't mention it in the video itself, but I do kind of want to, like, it'll be at the very least in the Q&A, because the Q&A for the next video is also going to be a, like, here's some more absurd facts from this topic that we couldn't fit in. But, like, even The Simpsons referenced the topic, but, like, nobody knows anymore, right?
I'm looking forward to your mistakes video where you can talk about all the times you misused my music by accident. like I did a special version of, maybe it was Beaking Around.
Yeah,
and you used the wrong version of it. And I was like, Fred, I worked like 2 hours on that.
I know. I was so embarrassed. I feel like I've treated you like shit a lot.
No. It's just funny. Like Atrocity Guide did it too, actually.
Oh, really?
Like, so you remember there's like a keyboard solo in Atrocity Guide?
Yes.
And it's like one of the. I'm so pleased. There's a guy who commented like, whoever's ever playing the keys at this moment is absolutely killing it. And I was just like, yeah, this is awesome.
Yeah, that must feel good.
If you watch that, I'm so sorry, Atrocity. If you watch that, there's like percussion sounds that sync up with the movement, but it's like half a second out of time.
No.
Obviously, she's gone back and she's changed a word, so it doesn't fit the video doesn't fit completely together anymore.
Right. And I have done that to you, and I think part of what happened was you would have too much time at the intro, and I should have approached you about it, but I think like you were really, really busy, and I didn't want to bother you, so I just kind of messed with it in post.
There was hurdy-gurdy, you cut half a piece. I was really salty about it because I was like, Fred, that piece, it does this thing, it changes and it makes sense. And you were like, but I need to cut some of the lines. I was like, I made that video of you showing how easy it is to change the tempo on a Logic file.
Yes.
I was just like,
and I was like,
had the tempo like slider going up and down like crazy.
Yeah, oh man, it's been hard learning how to work with another person because like I never want to inconvenience you, right? And part of it was also at that point I wasn't even. Part of it was that I wasn't even paying you at that point. Like you were making music for me gratis for a little while, and now I'm actually paying you for it.
I didn't want to mention that part, but
I don't know. Like
I thought you might be sensitive. It was just because I was doing it for fun.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? And I had more than enough money from my boring job in Beijing. I think I first worked with you when I was in Beijing, and then I moved and I was in Shanghai, and then I was making enough money from my boring job, and I just wanted something fun to do.
Right. Yeah.
A real job. So it makes sense.
Mm-hmm. No,
But it's worked out nicely.
Yeah, I'm really glad that that I've got you on board. I feel less guilty taking up your time now that I'm paying you too.
Definitely.
Right.
You shouldn't have felt guilty anyway, because I was always about making the best episode possible.
Yeah, I recognize that, but I also recognize that you work yourself to the bone. And I really didn't want to add even more to that. I also was really self-conscious about release times around that period too, because my release times were taking longer and longer as research was taking more and more time. Because, by the way, the thing that's increased the release, increased the time between videos has only been research. That's the one thing that has made the videos take longer. Except, well, I guess the video editing, I've gotten more precise with that, and more purposeful with it. But like a lot that I do is very purposeful that people don't even recognize or notice, really. It's interesting that people are willing to give me that time, and I'm really happy that people are willing to give me that time to research. But yeah, that's where the research comes from. Or that's where the time in between videos comes from.
And it's worth it, Fred, because that's what if there's I'm going to say USP. If there's a USP for your show, it's the research,
Mm-hmm.
That's what makes the difference, because there's so many like videos out there which are like, you might as well read Wikipedia. Do you know what I mean? I know some of these things don't have Wikipedia.
Right, yeah. And that's actually something that I kind of noticed with a lot of stuff on YouTube, is that a lot of the informational videos are just kind of reading the Wikipedia article. I think I like Salmonella's videos, but he's probably the worst perpetrator of that. Because he's very entertaining, but he's not really going much deeper than just what he found on Wikipedia. And that's fine. I'm there to be entertained, not to be informed as much, but that's not the angle that I'm going for. And I have the ability to do the research, right? That's sort of my edge. It's my X factor.
There was a comment earlier about the most difficult episode of Down a Rabbit Hole to make. For both of us, what was yours?
Ooh. That's a good question. You know what? I'm gonna open up my channel real quick and I'm gonna look. I want to make sure that I'm giving the right one.
I know one, and it was a tough one. I have a tough one in mind. Maybe you'll say. I'm curious what you say first.
The hardest video. It's gonna be a newer one for sure, just because I put more time into them. If you're talking about overall, it's probably the most recent one.
Oh, really?
Not the most recent one. The one that's coming out really soon.
Oh, okay.
The one that I keep alluding to but can't spoil yet. This one has probably been the most difficult to research. But beyond that, probably the Temple OS episode, just because I had to dig through so many live streams and so much video.
For me, the hurdy-gurdy was quite a tough one.
Yeah. Because, you really labored over that. Like, you were using different intervals for the notes. You broke out of, not just... Is it just intonation, where it's...
what is it? Pythagorean, but I think it's the same thing, isn't it? I'm actually not... So I do write microtonal music, but I'm not a big temperament kind of person. There's lots of people who are very obsessed with temperament.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just not for me. So my microtonal music is kind of weird because it's purposely doesn't make sense. I make like weird microtonal sounds and I use them in pieces.
All
so that if you listen
that
to
I ever see is nuclear fusion. Have you ever heard heard Flying Microtonal Banana? I think that's what the album's called.
Oh no.
It's it's great. Hold on. You know what?
I don't really have time to listen to other people's music. I'm
Yeah.
talking about my own music.
King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard is so much fun, though. I think you'd appreciate it. I know I'm gonna keep suggesting music and nobody's gonna have time to listen to it, but Nuclear Fusion is a freaking amazing song. Anyway, that was where I kind of realized, like, hey, wait a minute, microtonality at the forefront is potentially good.
Yeah, it just depends how it's used. I mean, like I said, I'm not particularly strict with it. And I just make weird sounds, microtonium, and I just stick them in my pieces,
Right.
They haven't been in a Down the Rabbit Hole episode yet, but they have been in Atrocity. We'll see if I use them in this episode.
Yeah.
I'm excited to find out. I don't know how dark this episode gets yet.
Wait, you haven't read the script yet?
No, I have read the script, but I don't know how dark the tone will be.
The tone. Right.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, it's... Because it kind of evolves as you make it, right? I was gonna say, like, you've read the script. I'm, like, 100% sure you've read the script. I just kind of... Okay. No, and you've been there as I've been sort of telling you as things have gone on, but it's all been kind of without context. I'll just, like, message you. It's like, Ryan, this fact is so absurd.
There are people talking about A equals 432 in the chat.
Oh, right.
What have I done? there's a A equals 432 conspiracy theory.
Yeah, I know about that conspiracy theory. It's so good.
I sent it to you.
Yeah, you sent it. Yeah, you're the one who introduced me to it. The article. I remember now. It was a long time ago, but I remember.
There's like pictures of cells like under 440 and under 432.
Right.
And they're like, look at this cell. It's all fucked up and like falling apart under 440. A equals 440, and then it's like, but 432. Look at this cell. This cell's happy.
Yeah,
like, what
it's
the fuck
so
is this?
I
There were
love
a
it.
few like music rabbit holes I have that have come about. I think they more warrant.
Oh, I've been on Top
episode.
Chat, not live chat. Oh, no wonder. Sorry, I feel like chat's been slow. It's like, oh, that's why. I'm a dweeb.
It's true.
Yeah, I mean, that is true, just in general.
But you're the best dweeb.
Aw, shucks.
Oh no, not again.
It's happening again. All right, now I think now might be a good time to open the floor to questions.
Yeah,
about,
definitely.
like, down the rabbit
Let's
hole.
have a look.
Thought Fredrik was going to read the Quran. Is it spelled Quaran sometimes? Because I've only ever seen it spelled Quran or Q-apostrophe-R-A-N. Did Ryan write the ba-da-da in the intro of some of the Down the Rabbit Holes? You mean all of them? And no, but he did make it his own for like from now on. God, it was like pulling teeth trying to get me to use your version. I talked about that before.
Yeah, you mentioned it to Jake. Multi-day arguments.
Yes, it went on forever until I eventually was like, yeah, you're right. I was scared. Oh my god. I'm so scared. Like, I don't know what I didn't ever expect Down the Rabbit Hole to get this big.
Mm-hmm.
Fred,
Have you ever told the real story behind Down the Rabbit Hole? Or was that secret?
No, it's not a secret. I've told the story before. I don't know if I told it on stream. I have not told it on QuaranTea yet. Do you guys want to hear the original story of how Down the Rabbit Hole happened?
Because this was news to me like 3 months ago.
Okay. Seeing it spelled Quran or Cor, yeah, with a K, yeah, Q or K. Different languages, different spellings. Okay, gotcha. Am I doing a documentary on Tiger King? No.
Caxton says you're a nervous boy.
Will I be making... Yeah, it's true. Will I be making a Down the Rabbit Hole about Warhammer? I mean, I do play Eldrad Ulthran in... as well as a random Dark Eldar in If the Emperor Had a Text-to-Speech Device. That's... Oh, that voice. That voice completely destroyed my throat for a few days afterward. Like, just went absolutely ham with it.
Fred, are you going to tell a story? People are...
Yes, yeah, people are asking. Okay, people are actually interested. I was
Yeah,
wondering if people were interested at all or not. Okay,
Why
so
wouldn't they be?
I don't know. Just it's dull. My life is dull. I can't... Okay, so a while ago, before Down the Rabbit Hole, long time ago, right? Before Down the Rabbit Hole, I was an esports caster. I got into it with League of Legends, and then League of Legends was never a good game, but it definitely got worse with time. And eventually, Riot announced their LCS series, which was, their big tournament. I was there pretty early on. I started playing when Xin Zhao was released, if anyone knows what that means. So a long time ago, but I noticed the game was changing, but the bigger thing was that Riot announced the LCS, and they sort of said, these are the casters that we're going to be using, and everyone else is just, out. No, you were either inside or outside, and I was right on the border, but I wasn't in the in circle, and I recognized that if I was going to get in, it would be years longer, and even then, the opportunities for me would be like null, essentially. It was pointless. So I let go. I let go of League of Legends, and I sort of puttered around. I played competitive Guns of Icarus for a while. I was on one of the B tier teams. We were dominant for a while, for a short period. We weren't the best team, for sure, but we definitely brought we changed the meta, and I'm proud of that. Damn it. But I eventually became a caster for that game. And as I was casting that and improving my abilities, an old buddy of mine from my League of Legends days said, "Hey, Fred, have you heard about a game called Gigantic?" And I looked at it, and I'm like, this is awesome. I play it, and I'm like, this is awesome. So I'm like, you know what? I'm in here on the ground floor of this game. I am, if this game gets big, I want to be ready. So I sort of wedge myself in there, and I'm sort of, I establish myself as the big caster, right? Like, I'm the guy who commentates tournaments. Then a lot of people know where this is going. I know I got flown out to a couple of events to help present the game, and then the game flopped for a lot of reasons. But it really just wasn't given a very good chance, even though it was a fantastic game. But Gigantic, but even before it died, the company was like, "Hey, Fred," because I'm very much a known quantity at this point. They said, "Hey, Fred, would you be interested in a public relations role potentially?" And I was like, I mean, yeah, absolutely. I'm guessing you're going to want a video, right? And they said, yeah, we want to see some of the videos you made. And immediately on the inside, I'm like, damn it. I haven't made a video in years because I was too busy streaming and casting. So I start thinking, what skills do I have? Well, I can narrate. I don't have a lot of really fancy, flashy effects that I can do, but, damn it, I can cut things together nicely. Okay, well, what really lends itself to those two things? Well, documentary, I guess. Okay, so what should I cover? Well, they're a game studio, so you know what? I'll bet they'll be interested in digital homicide. Yeah, that's what they'll be interested in. And I'm like, okay, well, it's also a really great topic because, well, nobody's collated all this information together. This is a great chance for me to show, hey, I have an eye for detail, so I'm going to show that off. And so in 3 days, I throw together this video about digital homicide studios, and I'm like, oh God, what do I name it? Fuck it, Down the Rabbit Hole. That sounds about right. Nobody's going to see this. I upload it onto my Google Plus YouTube channel just to have it somewhere so I can send them a link. And they never respond because the company was going bankrupt. It was not in a good way. They never got back to me. But I was like, I'll bet some people from Jim Sterling's subreddit would be interested in this. So I, copy paste and make a post there. Jim Sterling sees it and tweets out my video, and I get my first few hundred subscribers from it. And so I never got a call back from Motiga, the people who made Gigantic, but it did launch my YouTube career. That's the
That's such a
story of
beautiful
Down the
story,
Rabbit
Frank.
Hole.
It's
That
beautiful.
that's how it started.
And people are asking about your. I have seen you talking about League of Legends on YouTube before when you had kind of elven long hair.
Yeah, when
but
when
I
my
don't know
hair
if you.
was.
I remember your username, but I don't know if I have your permission to share it.
No, I'd like to keep that. If people find it, great, right?
Okay,
But
fine,
I'm like,
I thought that
I'm
would be
not
the
ready
case.
to share it with the world. It's definitely, it's almost a decade old at this point, and it is
There's a lot
definitely
more
cringy.
Fredrik on the internet than people think.
There is
That's
for
the thing.
sure. I mean,
There's a
like,
lot more Fredrik on the internet.
yeah. I mean, like, I was around casting for years, right? I was around. But nobody like I was only known in very specific circles. It didn't really matter.
Because I actually found it. I can't remember. I was like, maybe I was doing. I was going to see if I could put together a concert of our music, and it never came to anything. But I was like, I was googling you as much as possible to find some quotes about you, which were polite and complimentary. And there was like this thing about this guy, and he had a username. And I was like, where does this username take me? And I was like, oh my God, there's Fredrik like 10 years ago.
Yeah, I used to have really long hair. Like,
you had enormously long
yeah,
hair.
down to my chest. It was down like partway. It was partway down my chest. It was.
If people knew.
I was finding my footing. It's not a huge deal, right? Like it's whatever. I make Down the Rabbit Hole now. I found my footing. I'm comfy. But
and you shouldn't look negatively on things you did in the past, even if they're a little bit embarrassing. Like
it's definitely embarrassing. It's like I'm not going to be like, oh no, someone found it. It's like, okay, whatever. But it's kind of fun. It's like a time capsule of where I was back then.
I was watching it. I was like, man, Fredrik hasn't changed a bit. He's the same old guy.
I feel like I've mellowed out a lot.
Yes, that's true. You were definitely a lot more intense back then.
Yes, for sure.
It's kind of, but it's not a huge difference. It's like the smallest alteration in your behavior imaginable.
Is it really that? Have I really not changed that much in the last decade? Am I that mundane?
I don't want to say. Huckax is asking for me to send.
You can send it to Ryan. Yeah, you can send it to Ark. You can send it to Ark.
This is the real tea right now. It's Fredrik's old casting career.
Ooh. It was. I was part of this.
It's just like Legolas, by the way. People saying Legolas in chat. It's just like Legolas.
No, people compared me to Legolas all the time.
Yeah, you looked. I just. Absolutely, you're just like Legolas.
Oh, Talons is saying it's weird that my face is off camera, even though people know what I look like. It's because nobody cares what I look like. This is about the tea. What's the tea? No, it's just because who cares? Like, I'm not worried about having my face up there.
I mean, people were a bit weird about you when you first showed your face, right?
But
my
favorite comment.
But you don't. Yeah, go ahead.
Maybe I should read my favorite comment that I've ever.
I have my own favorite comment about your appearance, which I've mentioned before, but I'll mention it again after you.
Okay. Here, I'll read you guys my favorite comment that I've ever received. It is amazing, and I know that some people here are probably familiar with it, but here it is. I can search on my media. I linked it like a few 4 months ago, so it's really high up on my media on Twitter. And this is an old comment, right? This is a long time ago. It was a comment on the first Mistakes video. I just unsubbed. I was not able to imagine how pathetic you look before. Bye-bye. How can you have the balls to juge? You are as sexy as Chris Chan. Disgusting face, disgusting mind. Not funny anymore since you are garbage. Just hide yourself. What is the fuck? You are a ghoul.
Now, my favorite comment is you were really defensive about this, but my favorite comment was, your comb over can't hide the fact you're going bald.
Right. Right.
And you sent me like this paragraph explaining why you're not going bald.
Yeah, I remember that.
And how your code of you going.
I remember. I don't know why that bothered me so much. That was really funny.
And it was just like, it was obviously not true, but like I loved how defensive you were about it.
No, it's like I've got the Keanu Reeves hairline, right? Where it's just like really sharp.
I feel like the longer my hair gets, the more balding I look. And it's like if I cut my hair short, I'm like, oh, I'm not bald.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of have the.
I'm that way. I've had a really high, like, and really sharp hairline since I was in high school.
It's okay, Fred. You don't have to explain.
I was like, I know. I want to explain to everyone else, but like, it was. Never mind. You know what? I don't even know where I'm going with that. The comment that I shared with you, the best part about the ghoul comment is it's edited. The dude edited it. Oh yeah, and like Lou's saying, could that be a name for my subs, my ghouls? That's something I considered. Oh, this is cool. Like this last steep of the T is like a neon green. It's kind of it looks almost like Mountain Dew, actually. Maybe the camera doesn't pick that up so well, but like just looking at it, it's almost Mountain Dewy.
I can't actually see it, Fred. I've paused the video.
I sound like I'm constantly narrating a documentary all the time.
The weirdest thing, the weirdest thing is talking to Fred outside down the rabbit hole is like, it's such a strange experience because you're used to him narrating, and now he's having a conversation with you.
Right. You're not the first person who's told me that. Like, I have a small cadre of people that I like reading my scripts to before I send them live. No, before I record them. And I've gotten the comment before. It's like, it's weird to hear me go from just talking to my down the rabbit hole voice.
They're the same voice.
Mm-hmm. I only have one voice. What are you talking about? Do I have some Gyokuro? No, I don't. All right, you know what? We're bad at answering questions.
Yeah, shit. Right, let's have a look. Give us your questions.
Yeah, please. No, ask us whatever you like about Down the Rabbit Hole, and we will answer at our discretion.
The background music sounds like Silent Hill.
It's the Temple OS music going right now.
Yeah, I know which piece. It's Night Vision.
Yes, it is. Yep. I'm gonna send it back to the beginning, so that it's not quite so eerie. This documentary we call life.
Oh, so many questions. Are we planning to make new albums together? Maybe.
Maybe.
I mean, I think you will, Fred. You're up for it, Fred. It just
yeah.
What's my most enjoyable mode to compose in? I enjoyed all. I literally enjoy all of it. I never not happy writing music. Oh, my eyes. Over to you, Fred.
Yeah, Hidekata is asking, I love your name. Well, shucks. But why not change your channel name for privacy? My channel name was attached to my name from the very beginning. I actually tried to change it to Down the Rabbit Hole in the beginning, but because Google Plus is a fuck, it wouldn't do it. It would not do it. I tried, and it just did not work. And so now it's just my name, which actually kind of in a way works to my advantage, because my channel also acts as a portfolio in a way. So having my name directly attached to it makes it a little bit more obvious. How did I pick out the theme for Down the Rabbit Hole? I looked around on incompetech.com and found the first thing. Because remember, I made the first Down the Rabbit Hole in a 3-day long haze. I hardly slept those 3 days. Because I was desperately throwing that thing together. Someone's asking, do I have homosexualoids? The better question is, am I a homophile? And there's some people in chat that know what I'm referencing. Did you see that, Ryan?
No.
The post about someone saying, please change your character's gender. And like saying, you are a homophile. And it's just no, not to me. This is just like, it's a DM that someone sent to someone on DeviantArt that like got passed around, and it's almost 100% a troll, right? It's almost 100% a joke, but it's Poe's Law. Like we're bumping up against Poe's Law really hard with it. It's amazing. There's some people. You know what? I'm going to find the tweet, and I am going to link it in chat so you all can read it at your own will. I bet if I just search homophile, I'll find it. Got it. Right. Only, like, what is it? The power, like, only females have the power of vor. Amazing. Here we go. It was on FA Notes. That was the account that posted it. Let me go to their account. Let me find the first one. And then there's a second one as well. I'll just link the first one. I command you. Yeah, immediately change your character's gender.
That's if it says I command you, that's definitely a joke. Come on.
It's amazing. My favorite line from it, even if it's a joke, it's so funny that it's so good. No, I actually haven't been on DeviantArt in years. It's been a while. Christ. I never was active on it at all. But like, God, DeviantArt's still a thing. Like, that was the most surprising thing about this, is DeviantArt's a thing still. Let me see.
You know,
right.
I'm not
Secondly,
an artist, so
I have spent a grand time using your images for the sake of owneristic practices, and I am feeling extraordinary shame for having practiced ownerism not only to someone of my male gender, but also to the art of a homophile. This whole thing, the whole thing is golden.
It's definitely a joke. Come on,
it's got to be. It absolutely has to be a joke. But it's such a good one.
Oh well, our Caxton City's dealt with people like that, so it must be true.
But that's the problem, right? Is like for every troll, there's someone who's earnest like that. It's wild.
What did you say at the beginning of your SCPS episode? What did you say? What was your quote?
What? On the internet,
was it
on the
Mother
internet,
Horse Eyes?
reality is often more difficult to discern. Or is that
That's
the
it.
Mother Horse Eyes one?
I can't remember, Fred. It's this like, see, this is the thing I'm talking about. I can't remember which episode. Talons, the voice in the old intro is Fredrik's.
Yes.
I think it's been answered before.
Yeah, it is. It's so good. That intro was also part of the desperate 3-day throw together. No, every sound in that, even me going, ooh, that's just me layering my voice. And yes, I know that the guy sent another one. He sent 2 messages.
So, yeah, okay. Well, our Caxton thinks it's real, so I agree.
Our Gaxon knows better, neither of us.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not very, internet wise actually. I just spend so much time like working, and like I'll come to somebody will say something, and I'm like, what do you mean? And I was like, oh, that's a meme, Ryan. I never heard that before. I feel like such a boomer.
Spicy Milk is asking
Constantly.
if I am an anime character. Yes. Rock.
You have got the anime voice, haven't you?
Do I?
Yeah.
I can sort of do the gruff anime voice a little bit. I've got I've got a little bit of range with my voice. People keep telling me I need to try out voice acting, and I think it would be fun. And I keep saying that I need to get into it.
You should, because like people constantly ask you to. I mean, you just need to find something good to work on, don't you? Like, I think people are making like projects just to get you to voice.
Yeah. So Attila the Orc asks, have I read The Eye of Argon? Yes, I read the whole thing with Jabroni Mike in one sitting. You can find it on YouTube if you search.
Your anime name is Passion Gunshi.
Right, yeah, right. I am amazed that these are ancient memes. I'm amazed.
But they're the best memes, aren't they? Passion Gunshi's really classic.
It's a good one. There are very few memes associated with Down the Rabbit Hole, but the ones that exist, I'm really happy about. Describe my aesthetic. The aesthetic for Down the Rabbit Hole. Straightforward, direct, monochromatic.
Jazz. Jazz.
Jazz. Yeah. Subtle.
Yeah.
And subtle and unassuming is my goal. I try to make it so that all of my personal decisions. Oh my gosh. I think I told you about this comment. There was someone who said once, I don't read my comments nearly as much as I used to anymore, but I remember recently reading a comment. Someone said that I mentioned that, my creative process, and they said, I don't think what you do is really creative at all. You just state the facts. And at first I was like, I was a little bit like, oh, that's kind of, that's a little bit unkind. But then I realized, wait a minute. This means that I made it. Like, I was so subtle about it that he couldn't even tell. Probably because he wasn't paying attention. Because, like, you can always... I still need to make that video. I want to make a video about bias in things that appear to be unbiased. And how saying an unbiased piece of media is never an accurate thing to say. Like, that phrase is a paradox. It cannot exist. But I actually feel pretty good about that. That I was able to hide... that I was able to make the work stand on its own so well and get them so interested in the topic itself that they didn't recognize the hand of the creator. And for Down the Rabbit Hole, that feels like a success.
I mean, I agree. I think one of the most interesting things about you, Fredrik, is people can't imagine is sometimes you're really strong about certain ideas.
Right.
Because you always kind of talk about how you're unbiased, but being unbiased doesn't really exist.
I'm not unbiased. I think
no,
like...
but... Okay, go.
Oh, all my videos have bias to a certain degree, but what I try to be is impartial a lot of the time. Now, sometimes there are things that are absolutely ridiculous, and I will use rhetoric that reflects that if it is just absurd and over the top. But I'm not going to make a judgment for you. And if I do make a very strong statement, my goal is that by the end, the comments should be going either way. Like, either they say they don't know what to think about it, or some people think this, some people think this, the exact opposite after seeing the video. That's kind of my gauge of success in terms of being impartial.
Yeah.
Obviously, sometimes the opinions on something are going to be very... one-sided, just because it's kind of hard to interpret certain things any other way. Like the Final Fantasy house. It's like, Jen was crazy. It's like, yeah, there's not much other interpretation for it.
Yeah.
But you get what I mean, right? Because I'm very biased with pretty much all the topics. Like, I form opinions about the things I research. Of course I do.
Yeah.
But that's my goal in my videos isn't to present those opinions, because I don't think my opinions are that important. But also because that's just not what even if I did think my opinions were that important, that's not the point of Down the Rabbit Hole.
I think it would be less interesting if it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's so many videos on YouTube of people presenting their opinions that it's like we don't need more. That niche is filled.
I'm the opinionated one.
Yeah,
The music is the opinion.
Yes, very much so. Ryan's opinion comes through more than mine in the videos. But in the end, I'm always signing off on them. So
yeah,
our opinion tends to align pretty closely a lot of the time. Sometimes we disagree. Are there any big disagreements you can think of that we've had?
Oh shit.
In terms of opinions on topics.
Checking our chat. No, not really. I mean, shit. No, no. I can think. There were some ones like. I think I felt like some of the pacing in the. What's that guy's name? Wings of Redemption video could have been done differently.
Yeah,
and I felt like there were some topics like I felt you could have focused on more on how like seriously deranged the trolls were. But I think it came across enough anyway. Actually, in retrospect, like I was thinking, like, man, these trolls are really screwed up. I'm hoping you're making a big deal of this, and you're like, they get a little mention. I was like, oh, you sure you don't want to talk about them more? But I think people realize that.
Yeah, I think that it's a tough line to draw, right? Because the video was already 2 hours long.
Yeah, fucking hell.
Yeah, it's
like that week was crazy. So the week I wrote the music for Wings of Redemption, I was like entering a competition, and like I was submitting like 90 minutes of music. Like the score, I want to check how many pages.
Sure. Well, while you check the pages, actually, someone you get that. I'm going to respond because someone did make a really interesting comment and something that I've considered a lot. Tragic Comedy says, could this be considered manipulation via media by hiding a bias? And that's the trick, right? Is at that point, there's no such thing as a completely impartial piece of media. So at that point, the only thing that you can really go off of is ethics. Like, how ethical is the creator? Are they going to use them hiding their bias in order to insert their bias into other people? Or are they actually going to try to give an impartial, or is the effort actually going into making an impartial presentation of the events? And that's, at that point, you're kind of at the point of caveat emptor, right? Like, I personally think that if you are making a biased piece of media, then you should, or like something overtly, right? If you're putting your opinion out there, it should be obvious. But it's tricky, right? It's the ethics of making any kind of media are extremely tricky because I want to present the facts as much as possible and tell this story, because there are always a million ways I can tell a story. I'm not, like, I feel like I take on an extra responsibility by trying to stick closer to the facts than opinion, and trying to remove my opinion as much as possible. But then again, you get to the point where you're trying to be a textbook at that point, and then it's not a piece of media anymore. It's facts laid out as dryly as possible. And I am still trying to make something that's enjoyable from beginning to end. Like, there's a balance that I'm trying to strike there. And, I'm trying to get the most out of both. How can I be as informative as possible while not influencing their opinion? But at the same time, I'm still telling a story and sort of telling it from one particular angle. It's a hard line to balance, and I don't have a good answer. And like I said, my goal is that by the end of the video, people should have all different kinds of opinions, and not feel influenced one way or the other. Because I'm not trying to force my opinion down anyone's throat. Most of the time, I'm not looking to change people's opinions because it doesn't really matter to me. it's hard, and I try to solve that problem through craft in terms of like it's hard to vocalize, and it's hard to break this problem down because it's an incredibly complicated problem. Because when you tell a story from a particular angle, you are going to run into the problem of bias, always.
I've found a score. It's 150 and 2.5 hours of music. But how long was Wings of Redemption? 2.5 hours?
Wings of Redemption was like 2 hours, 10 minutes, including the
so
credits, right around there.
So that was like 1 week, 2 hours and 10 minutes of music, and 133-page score submitted. That was a dark. That was a tough. It wasn't a dark week. It was a tough week. You know.
Yeah. It was very subtle. I feel like you have a tall order trying to be so subtle with the music without being too obvious, because it's hard to do it in the medium of music. I feel like my brain is breaking down at this point.
Well, I mean,
am I making sense? I feel like I'm rambling at this point.
Oh, I'll jump in then. I think with the music, I would say that one of the most difficult aspects is I got to keep it interesting, but underneath your voice. You know, your voice should be the center of attention. Mm-hmm. And, you know, the music can follow the progression of the story, but it also must work with your voice. And that's very complicated and quite difficult to do. If that makes sense. Mm-hmm. I mean, when I first started, you're always banging on about keeping it underneath your voice.
Yeah, I was saying, like, leave the mid-range open for my voice.
And you're actually more difficult. Atrocity Guy's a bit easier to write for because she has a higher voice.
Yes.
And she escapes a lot of the music more easily. So that's why Atrocity Guy's music is a bit more active in some places.
Yeah.
And she leaves space for solos.
She does, yes. Nice. She's a lot kinder than I am in that regard.
Yeah, it's not about kindness. It's about, a product. I said product. Terrible. It's about what you're trying to make, right?
Yeah, it's just a different aesthetic.
I mean, working, if I had any advice to it, if there's anybody who work in media music in the comments, is, you need to, the most important person in the room when you're making some person, if you're working in film, is the person making the film, like Fredrik's the head honcho of Dana Rabbit. So you got to listen to it.
It's kind of my role as director in a way to make sure that everything is cohesive. Like everything has to work together. Let's see, questions, because I feel like we spend forever on one question.
When is Dana Rabbit Hole Big Chungus dropping? Fred?
Yeah, Mr. Skeletal Man was saying they're from Russia. Thanks for hanging out.
I'm just laughing at him trying to spell pie.
But yeah, lol, beer. Bye, damn it.
Goodbye. There's one for you about Mother Horse.
Yeah, what's my honest opinion on Mother Horse Eyes? Did you like the way it was presented, or do you think the bombarding Reddit users with gore could be potentially problematic? I thought it was fantastic. I think I like that it just comes out of nowhere and freaks people out. I think it may not be for everyone, right? And it may freak people out, but at that point, you scroll past it. There's a scroll wheel, and it's easy to get past it. Plus, his text, like if he was putting in, pictures, that might be a different story. But it's text. It's easier to scroll past and just not read.
What games do you play, if any? Me and Fred used to stream Human Fall Flat.
We did a couple times. That was fun.
Yeah, and it was hilarious because I was in Shanghai, and to play the game I had to use like a VPN, and like steering the Human Fall Flat, what do you call it, mannequin, was like steering a ship. There would be like a 4-second delay before like the character moved, so it was like sometimes I just content myself by watching you do things, and then I'd be like, "Hey, Fred, look at me, I'm dancing."
Yeah. You really tried a lot of the time. I think that you downplay your hustle. You hustled a lot.
I'm a try hard at human fall
fall
flat.
flat. Yes. Are we gonna see
We should do another. We should do another one. It'll
Yeah.
be good because we always keep down low and like kind of don't share them with a lot of people.
You should do tabletop simulator.
Yeah, but I ruined the last game we played. Like I was just breaking the rules and you weren't noticing.
Right.
Like,
yeah, we played Ascension. I love Ascension. I remember that.
And you were like, we just play until we run out of power chips. And I was like, oh, I've been replenishing those. So I just been like grabbing them.
Yeah, right. And lengthening the game.
Yeah. That's the only game I've ever won against you, and I was cheating the whole time.
Stardust is asking if there's ever going to be a down the rabbit hole on me. Why are people so interested in? I don't understand.
You could, after your casting career, people are definitely curious now. 10 years of history, Frederick.
It's boring history.
Just like
it's really boring.
10 years of history.
Yes. I'm gonna have to do a DSP update video at this point.
Really?
At some point, like not now, obviously. There's a whole saga after a troll bought his debt.
That's like absolutely
next level.
Incredible. Yeah.
God. Oh, was it Secretagent Pasta, I think? Yes. Do negative comments get to you, or are you confident enough in your filmmaking to not let it get to you? Negative comments don't bother me anymore, but that has more to do with my experience as a creative in general than it does with like being on YouTube a while. It does.
I think like after sort of 5 years of doing your thing, right? You kind of just no, you've been doing it less than that.
Than that, yeah.
YouTube 10 years, but I
mean, I've been making content, right? I've been a caster, and I got ripped. I was terrible in the beginning, right? I was horrendous, but of course we all start out bad. But I was particularly bad. But I mean, just I'm used to criticism. It doesn't bother me, and I can recognize when criticism's useful. And it also helps that I recognize that what I make isn't for everyone. Like not everyone is going to enjoy everything that I make. It's
because they normally make me laugh. That's the thing. And
yeah, no,
I used to want to share them, and you're like, come on, Ryan, don't feed the trolls, But you get to share your negative comments. This is this is double standards right here.
I know.
Hypocrisy. My favorite one was the guy who just said, "Your music is ass."
Right.
I was like, I mean, you could be right.
Oh,
but they're funny. That's the point. I think he's in the news bit these days. Like Louis Theroux is in the news because of the Tiger King documentary.
Sure.
For fuck's sake. But because he met the Tiger guy years ago, and he did a documentary about prisons, and they're like there's this like prison officer, and he was like laughing the whole time. These like people in their cells were shouting at him. It's like, why? Louis was like, why are you smiling? It's like, a lot of what they say amuses me, and that's kind of how I feel when people leave like rude comments. Generally makes me laugh.
Yeah, no, it's after a while it's so hard to be bothered by it. I think that there are some people that never quite move beyond it for sure, and they often become lolcows because they stay but they're still bothered by it. They take it personally, and it's not personal most of the time. So like even if it is a personal attack, what do they really know about you, right? Like unless you're throwing your personality out there, and even then at that point it's why do they care? Like why do you care?
That's just real life though, isn't it?
It is real life. At that point you're just at real life. Literal Lucas remembers Fred the Shoutcaster. Yeah, Literal Lucas. That's a name. That's a name that has been around for a long time.
Somebody asking what the Tiger King is. I haven't seen it. It's a documentary about Joe Exotic. Is that the right name?
I guess.
Oh yeah, somebody commented. Perfect timing. Yeah, Joe Exotic.
Okay, perfect. Do a video about Free Pap, an Israeli indigenous movement in Peru. that has been through a lot of bad practices and controversies. That sounds like a Jake Hanrahan thing, potentially. More so than Down the Rabbit Hole.
I mean, people come up with a lot of good
There's
ideas
so many
all
good
the time.
topics, right? There's so many good topics.
Sometimes you spend a lot of time kind of going, is this a Fredrik Knudsen idea, or is this like a Jake Hanrahan idea, or is this an internet historian idea?
Yeah,
because I think fundamentally it's you personally, right?
So you broke up a little bit.
You have to speak. It has to speak to you personally, right?
Right. I have, because a lot of what I do is passion. Like and that's why I think that Down the Rabbit Hole is something that I can do sustainably for a long time, is because there's always something new that I'm passionate about and interested in. So it's hard to be disinterested in making Down the Rabbit Hole.
I think that's the most important thing. Anybody out there, I'd say, look, find something you're passionate about. And chase it. I'm passionate. My music is all about what I'm passionate about. I mean, I'm passionate about Down the Rabbit Hole, so I give it my all.
Oh, I'm so glad.
Yeah, I mean, of course I am. I wouldn't still be here. Even regardless of the money, I wouldn't still be here. There's lots of ways I could, easily make a living.
Yeah.
But I want to be making a living with things I'm passionate about.
Yeah, and I'm really glad that you always make time for Down the Rabbit Hole. It means a lot.
But in my concert music, it's all about things I'm passionate about. For years, I was like paralyzed by this kind of fear. What would people think about my work? And it was just stupid. The whole time I should have just been asking myself, what do I love? Why do I love it? And putting it into what I make.
Yeah, I mean, that's how Down the Rabbit Hole happened, sort of. Like, I basically looked at, okay, here are all the skills I have, right? Here are the things that I'm really confident in. How can I bring them all together into one thing? And Down the Rabbit Hole Down the Rabbit Hole takes advantage of all of the skills that I have really refined, I think.
One of the things you're always a bit unwilling to talk about is your writing as well. And you always kind of put yourself down when it comes to your writing, your short stories.
My fiction is always a little subpar.
No, but okay, so because we can have very honest conversation with each other, because some of it is, there's one in your collection, there's one story I say, this story is absolutely fantastic. The others are hit or miss, but this one story is fantastic.
Bloated, right? Sorry, Gideon's Song.
Oh, Gideon's Song, yeah.
That was the one that you really liked.
And I think everybody likes it, and I think you're proud of it too.
Yeah, that's the one I'm most proud of.
Yeah. So, it's something you have an understanding of that idea, but the passion drives the art.
I definitely.
Sort of more go ahead.
When I wrote that collection, The Descended Eye, I know it's not available anymore because I took it off because I'm not proud of it. I made it a PDF a while ago, and I could make it available. Like, again, I could link it. I have no problem with it, with people reading it. Just know that I'm not proud of it. It's not very good by my standards. I want to go back. I like some of the ideas in them enough, and they speak to me enough that I want to go back and rewrite some of them.
Do you think it's too easy to remove things from the internet these days?
No, it's really hard to remove things from the internet.
No, but you've taken your book down. But I think you should just accept your book. Do you know what I mean?
I don't want to sell it. I don't want to accept money for it. That's the big problem. I'm not worried about it being out there. The problem is finding a distribution place for it.
You should put a link on your Twitter then.
Yeah, I need to upload it to Dropbox or something.
Yeah, put it.
I need to make a Dropbox account. I don't think I have a Dropbox account. I'm not going to make a Dropbox account right now.
That's an excuse.
On stream. I'll do it after stream.
If you don't, can you tell us who's on tomorrow? Because I'll get in contact with them and make sure they ask.
Okay. Tomorrow is, I think, Nick Nocturne.
Okay, I'm messaging.
I'm double checking. Hold on, give me a second. It's
Fred, you don't even
Yes,
remember your
tomorrow's
own
Nick
schedule.
Nocturne. Huh?
Okay. You don't even remember your own schedule.
I remembered it. I just gave you the name of the person.
But you had to look it up.
Okay, but I didn't have to look it up. I said it, and then I said, let me double check. Damn it.
Okay, I believe you.
God damn it.
Donor rabbit holes. Donor rabbit holes cancelled, everybody. I'm sorry.
Down the rabbit hole's never happening ever again.
Sorry, I lost you, Fred. My internet's being
Uh-oh.
shitty.
Okay, hello.
It's fine, we're back. Don't worry.
Good.
Any more questions?
Any more questions, and then I'm going to get to super chats. This again went long.
Yeah.
They always go long.
But we actually don't talk enough, really.
We don't chat enough. I agree.
It's a loose saying sailor line. I don't know which line it is.
Let's see who else is on the schedule. Yeah, I haven't been announcing them, but I've got Nick Nocturne, I've got Evan Hadfield, I've got Atrocity Guide, and I've got regular car reviews. Those are the 4 people coming up.
What kind of equipment do you use to make the Rabbit Hole episode?
Oh yeah, sure. I've got my desktop, obviously. It's a gaming rig, like a mid-range gaming rig. For audio, I've got beyond the mic stand and pop filter, obviously. I use a Sennheiser E838 to record. And then I have a Behringer, X1204 USB. Xenix X1204 USB. I got it really cheap. I got it secondhand, barely used, for way under market value. Otherwise, I would have gotten a smaller one. And that's what I use for recording. And then for sound dampening, I put a blanket over my head. I'm not kidding.
It's one of the funniest things you'll ever see is the picture of Fredrik's blanket selfies.
Yeah, yeah, I've done a couple.
It's one of the most endearing parts of the Donor Rabbit Hole production, because like sometimes I feel like you send me like the narration, and I'm like, here comes the narration. Gotta plug it into my DAW. Gotta make some music here, and like sometimes you'll just send me like, here's a picture of me recording. I'm like, okay, I'm this is a real experience now. Yeah, that's it's one of the most wonderful parts of making the show is your recording selfies.
Well, it's all done now. I actually found a better way to do it. I got some lighting equipment a little while ago, some cheap lighting equipment. And I got some really nice clips with it. Do I have any of them on hand? No, I moved them. But I clip it to the top of my desk, right up there. And then I have a couple of light stands that I clip it to as well, and I make a little fort. Make a little recording fort.
It's so sweet. It's so what's childlike? I was gonna say infantile. That's the wrong one.
If it
There's
works,
so many.
You can't tell the difference though, right? It sounds the same.
There are people asking for blanket selfies.
I have one on Twitter. Hold on, I'll link it.
Oh really?
Yeah, I tweeted it out at one point. Let me see if I can find it. It's not. It can't be that far back. Here we go. Got it. Welcome to my recording studio. There, I just linked it in chat. Maybe I can just download the image and then...
Oh, this isn't the same though. It's not actually you inside it.
No, I'm not inside
it. Then with big books as well. That's hilarious.
Oh yeah, this is before I got the clips, so...
It's CDRs on the side as well. It's like we're back in the 1990s.
Oh yeah, I know, right?
Questions. That's the Wings music.
Yeah. Here we go.
Holy
okay,
crap.
I've got it. Here's the... Oh god, it's huge. Make it smaller. Make it fit. Here we go. This is quality. All right, I'm putting it up on stream now. So y'all can see it.
See it.
There's my recording studio.
You could describe it.
There's my recording studio.
Oh, there's a good question here, Fred.
What?
There's one about your hurdy-gurdy D/G or G/C.
Oh yeah,
Here's your
I do
trumpet
it typically
technique
in
along.
CG tune or GC tuning. Yeah.
If you want to hear how his trumpet technique is coming along, you should listen to the album.
It's not, well, that one wasn't really refined. I specifically was trying to make it kind of chaotic and imperfect. It was more for accent than it was for like keeping the beat. But it's okay. It's still not the best. But I'm definitely way more comfortable with my trumpet technique than I used to be.
It's very challenging for my.
It is. It's by far the least intuitive part of playing the hurdy-gurdy.
I'm part of a hurdy-gurdy group on Facebook, dare I say. And,
are you?
Some of the trumpet technique is absolutely unbelievable.
Oh,
Like they'll go
yeah.
to gigs and they'll film some people playing, and I'm just like, oh my god, what the hell is this?
No, it's
quick.
crazy. It's so fast.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'll ever be able to hit that level of speed. And I'm just partially because I'm just not as interested in trumpet. Like it's fun to do, right? The reason that hurdy-gurdists use it mostly is because it's fun.
Yeah.
But that's not the reason that I got into the instrument.
But you have roughness on your side, which is something that gets lost the more you learn. And roughness is, a fascinating part of music.
I can play cleanly. I've practiced enough that I can get quite clean melodies, but that's not what we were going for Answerer.
No.
No.
The answer is, the title comes from the ancient Egyptian, what would you describe it as? Burial artifact, the statues that are meant to be servants to the person who's
Yes, we saw those.
Yeah, in the museum.
Yep.
So I was like, maybe this is an interesting. We should use this for the album, because I think we were recording. Yeah, we were recording it.
Yes.
We'd already started.
Yep. And I felt really
after
guilty because I'm like, I'm seeing you in person, and now you can get on my ass for not sending you the recordings.
You sent me the recording, so it was fine. What actions have you taken to help your channel grow the most? That have helped? No.
Some of those are trade secrets. They're nothing that like underhanded though. There's nothing underhanded that I'm doing, but it's specifically like the topics that I choose and how I choose them. I'm very particular about it, and I think that more than anything has grown my channel.
You do mention things like soaking in the algorithm.
Yeah, well, that's more on the technical side. There are things that I do that are a little bit more forward facing that have helped to grow the channel. But frankly, the best thing that I did was changing my paradigm so that don't just mindlessly do, like if you're trying to make it on YouTube, don't just mindlessly do what other people tell you to do. First ask, why are they doing it? And then figure out if what they're doing applies to what you're doing. So for example, the strategy of uploading every week, which is what most people will tell you to do on YouTube, does not fit for me. And I still am doing just fine.
It's kind of weird because I feel like people feel like YouTube forces you into a certain way of making stuff, but maybe that's not necessarily true.
Not as true. Like there are certain things that you have to do, but not quite. It's not as restrictive as people think. There are people with rules, but the rules are constantly changing and they are not uniform. What works for one person will not necessarily work for the next.
I think it's the most difficult thing to teach people is judgment.
Yeah, you
Judgment's
can't.
really important in any kind of career. And people are like, Ryan, how do I do this? What are the rules to writing good music? And I'm like, listen, you need judgment, and you can't be taught that. You have to learn it.
Oh, Zemo Nitrome's here. I used to watch his It Is Wednesday, My Dude videos. I kept up with them. I was always up to date with them. And he's saying, yep, uploading every week is horrible. Yeah. I remember trying to upload Down the Rabbit Hole every 2 weeks, and that was a nightmare. I can back you up on that one.
You would actually kill me.
Yeah, I would. But then again, they were only 15 to 20 minutes long usually.
You'd still kill me.
I'd still kill you, yeah.
Yeah.
If they made an action figure of me, what add-on accessories would be included? Tea making action. What he shoots tea out of his fist. And yeah, load him up with tea. Like dip him in tea and push down on his head. He fires. Wow.
He would have a goodie.
A hurdy-gurdy for sure. And then with like a teeny tiny little like speaker that plays, you know, Stella Splendens, like a crappy little clip of Stella Splendens out of a crappy little speaker. Do I sometimes feel the only way to make money is just streaming due to ad rates? No, not at all. I never stream. After I'm done with this series of streams, I'm not going to stream for a very long time on my YouTube channel.
Your Twitch channel is kind of more personal.
I sometimes.
I think you like it being small.
It still like never happens.
Yeah. Is this once a month? If that.
No, not even anymore. The problem is always like, oh, I kind of want to stream, but I should work. That's always the problem. I think that this is actually a good place to call it. Let's check out the super chats, and then we'll call it for today. Then I can get back to cutting together the audio for you. I'm feeling way better now. I was in a serious funk. Like that's the problem that I've noticed is that it's really hard to just like, I don't feel like working, but I'm just going to push through it and do it, because that's how you get subpar work. I'm always afraid that my work is going to be really crappy if I just push through it, because that's happened before. And so it's tricky, right? Sometimes if you're in a funk, it's not the best thing to just push through it. Not just because of burnout, but because you get like subpar quality work.
Yeah.
How moist am I right now? I'm fine. I don't tend to get swamp ass. I'm very fortunate. I was blessed with a body that does not get terribly moist. And yeah, Ark's finishing up.
This is gonna be a classy stream.
It's a classy stream. Yeah, this is good.
Yeah.
All right. Now, all right.
Yeah,
so,
I wish we could talk more about art. Actually, we should do some classy art streams.
Yeah. I like chatting with Elise all the time about it. Whenever we get the chance, we just chat about art, and it's always a productive conversation.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and check out super chats and call it for today. Thank you so much for joining.
No problem.
This has been fantastic.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Because I'm kind of a nobody compared to you.
Oh, you're out here wild and you're making the videos with me, man.
Yeah, it's true. The silent partner who makes noise.
Mm-hmm. It's good. Yeah, he just sits there. He sits behind me and goes rah, rah, while I'm researching all day. Okay. Steve Parker, super chat, says thanks for the documentaries, helps pass the time. My pleasure. I'm so glad that I can help people pass the time during quarantine. Corgi-tastic says your stream goes super well with some Animal Crossing. Perfect. That's exactly what I'm going for. Kipple Draws says I'm sensitive to bitterness and tannins, so tea is hard to get into. Recommendations: white tea. White tea is a great way to get into it because it's hard to screw up white tea. You might not get the best flavor out of it. You might not get the most that you possibly can out of it, but it's hard to completely ruin it. Genmaicha as well. Genmaicha is a really forgiving green tea because of the roasted rice. Genmaicha is also called popcorn tea. So if you search that, you can find some for sure. West Coast Emerald Bowl says thoughts on the Walt Disney Concert Hall's wacky architecture. I'm not familiar with it. Ryan?
I'm Googling it.
Okay.
Oh, where is it? Oh, it's kind of funky. Temporarily closed. Yeah, no shit. Oh yeah, it's kind of like imagine taking aluminium cubes and kind of warping them. It's pretty cool.
Okay.
I mean, I'm not an architect, so I don't know
Here,
what I'm talking
I'll
about.
look it up too. Do you have a link actually?
I just googled it, Fred.
Okay, hold on.
You'll find it straight away.
Walt Disney
The
Concert Hall.
clacky keyboard.
It's great. Oh yeah, so people have been asking me about the keyboard in chat, and I just never responded. It's a Cooler Master with Cherry Blues. Cherry Blues are really good for typing, by the way, if you do a lot of typing, and you're not worried about bothering like anyone you're in the room with. Oh wow, that is wacky. It looks cool. It looks distinctive.
I used to be a steward. It's a modern hall as well. It's similar to this, but it's not a wacky shape. It's got very good acoustics. I used to do a kind of shitty job where people used to like occasionally punch me in the face because they didn't like me moving them from seats.
Gotcha. Okay, let's see. Arizona Yu-Gi-Oh! Village. Bro, links for a tea set, the whole thing. Problem is, this came from China. Ryan got this for me. This tea tray also came from China. Ryan got it for me. This you can find in any tea shop. Like, these are really cheap. I mean, hell, you could even make your own with like just with a little bit of wire mesh. But if you get a fine one, then you can stop more particulates from getting into the tea that you drink. But no, these are easy to find. This is cheap. And this, you can go online. Just look up tea tasting set. You'll find these for 12 bucks. Like, these two together are 12 bucks. It's really easy.
I'm just thinking how the stuff I bought you from China was potentially poisonous, but...
Oh, we'll find out. No, I'll let you know as soon as I get the chemical analysis done.
We need to find out. This is
I'm
this
curious.
Is a real mystery.
Yeah. Big Guy asks, sorry if I've asked this before, connection's trash, but are there any teas that can ease a nauseous gut? Ginger. Ginger's good. Chamomile can help too, with honey. Honey with both of them can be really nice. Nothing too acidic or astringent. I'd avoid like green teas, even white teas maybe. Lots of herbal teas are good for that. But as for just like regular old teas, probably not. Look for chamomile and ginger. I'm sure that there are some other suggestions too. Hop Cool. Yeah, these are the super chats again, by the way. Hop Cool, keep up the fantastic work, man. Thank you. I am desperately trying. Colin Behunin, good name, asks if you saw a rabbit hole while on a camping trip, would we ever see you again? I see more squirrel holes than rabbit holes. So yes, you'd be okay. Talons of Water writes, do you use WorldCat when researching for Down the Rabbit Hole? If not, where do you go for researching Down the Rabbit Hole topics? Also, happy birthday, Ryan. Not WorldCat. A lot of the time, it's just regular old search engine searches. To start with, like, the very basics, then I find keywords and then use those to refine the searches, if I'm talking internet topics. And then I'll try to find forums often that are talking about these things, because forums sometimes archive things surprisingly well.
There are a lot of like tricks you can use to research things.
Yeah,
I've researched some of my own topics in depth, and there's some real tricks you can use to bring out some really strange information.
It's basic stuff, right? It's a lot of the tools that you use are not like super obscure or unique. Yeah. It's just finding the terms is the hard part. Peter Mellon. Go ahead.
Maybe that research will end up in a Warren's episode one day.
Yeah, maybe. Peter Melling. Happy birthday, Ryan. Also, Fred, would you consider a Down the Rabbit Hole on Alex Day, former YouTube musician / Charlie McDonnell's old friend turned disgraced man? I'm not familiar with Alex Day.
I think I know this guy. Is he... Yes, it's who I'm thinking of. He was accused of sexual abuse. I know. It was in the news in the UK, because he's from...
Okay.
I think he's English, right? Yeah, he's English.
As a rule, I kind of shy away from sexual abusers because I feel like I don't want my subjects to be so black and white. I don't want it to just be like, here's this terrible, unredeemable person. Let's talk about them for an hour and a half. I'm less interested in that. There has to be something redeeming. if I'm going to talk about an individual person. So it's unlikely if it really is, sexual abuse. Small free 15s. Tignot. My birthday is on April 8th, and despite my significant other getting an MS diagnosis, oh god, the mega lame apocalypse left me with spare dollars, and I've been following you from the start. Well, thank you so much for the support. I really appreciate it. It means a lot that people are supporting me even during all of this. Manteris Cheap Loser. Thanks for the buck. I appreciate it. MKD. Zarko Tchaikovsky, just based on the name. Where is that from? MKD. I'm gonna look.
Googling it. What's up?
Macedonian dinar. See, I know dinars from Mountain Blade. That's like, oh, dinars. It's an actual thing. Kind of like rupees are an actual thing, right? Like my little middle school mind was blown when I learned that rupees were an actual
Are you
currency.
serious?
Yeah. Well, I mean, when I was really little, right? Before I knew.
Yeah. Okay. What? Okay.
In America, you're so sort of cut off from the world that like you learn about these things and it's like, whoa. Dakota, thanks for the super chat. Fred is giving the gays everything they want. I think he's referring to us. I remember seeing that.
It's all you, Fred. It's all you, Fred.
No, it's us. It's us, Ryan. Ethan Stapley asks, can you cancel your current video production so you can instead make a video about my hometown, Great Yarmouth in the UK? Yeah. People would love that. Am I missing context?
I don't think so.
Okay. Okay.
I'm going to do a quick Google. I think it might be a joke. I can't... Yeah. There's not very... Maybe, I don't know. I think it's kind of... The joke is just in a remarkable place, dare I say.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's good. It looks like it has a nice beach. I go there.
Oh, nice.
And a fun fair. Oh, is it in Norfolk? Hang on. Yes, it's in Norfolk.
Okay.
It's definitely not worth covering.
Okay. Hands of Asclepius. There we go. Hands of Asclepius asks, have I seen Beastars yet? No, but I've started reading it. I'm reading the manga. I know that the anime is good. I've heard that it's really good, but I want to read the manga first. West Coast Emerald Bull. Thought on Aaron Carter's tragic life. I'm not super familiar. Wait, is it? Hold on.
Is he the guy who stole that guy's artwork on the internet?
He's a rapper. Okay, I'm not familiar with like rap drama at all.
Yes, he stole that guy's art, and it was a kind of Twitter feud.
Okay, gotcha. And was a parent? Is he alive? He said Aaron Carter is. Okay.
He is alive. Yeah.
I thought I saw was, and I'm like, wait, what? Lou, sup, Lou? You just lost the game. Thanks. Cocytus Media. Hey, Fred, have you ever heard of Newgrounds animator Emily Youcis? Youcis? Youcis. She was kind of famous, but in 2016 she had a mental breakdown and became a neo-Nazi. I've never heard of this. I never was super into Newgrounds. I knew some. I knew the basics, but like, I'm not familiar with this person at all. I think a lot of people have this impression of me that I'm like this mega online person who knows everything online, but that's just so unbelievably untrue. And then Ripgottahook. What are some topics you adamantly will not make a video on but find interesting? The first one I go to is Onision. I'm not making a video on Onision. I already said it on Twitter, but the video would just be me talking about how awful he is over and over again. It would just be just be listing all of the awful things that Onision has done in a big laundry list, and nobody would have a good time. It would be boring, it would be dry, it would be frustrating, and that's it. I think that there are better topics. And he's already covered by The Right Opinion. The Right Opinion did a good series on him. Jay Aubrey. You know, there are plenty of people talking about him. I'm not necessary. And that's it. Those are the super chats. I think we're good.
Nice. You never cover murder. That's another thing.
Murder, yeah. That's sort of something I haven't like specifically codified in anything official yet. But I as a rule, don't cover murder because I'm uncomfortable with journalism's place in. I'm not saying that I'm a journalist, but I feel like talking about it glorifies it in a lot of cases, especially the way that I tend to present things. So
very sensational.
I'm not comfortable potentially being a part of that problem. I feel like it's a step too far for me.
Yeah.
And that's it. I think that this is a good time to call it. Thank you very much,
Fred,
everyone.
It's been a pleasure.
Right.
Everybody, it's been a pleasure.
It's been great. It's been great having you on and chatting with you. This has been fantastic.
Well,
It's always good chatting with you. Let me see. I'm going to link your Twitter one more time. This will be archived. I'll get it up on the other channel right away. I was slow about it the other days, but it'll be I'll do it really soon after, in the next couple of hours. So don't worry, this will be up. All right, I'm gonna copy paste Ryan's Twitter one more time. If you're interested in getting music lessons from him, do it.
Yeah, I'm very fair. I'm a very fair teacher.
I'm also gonna be getting lessons from him.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, Yep, I'm on that list. I got in early. I got.
You're my first student.
Little bit of nepotism.
I was like, Fred, I might do some online lessons, and you're like, give me some.
Yeah, no,
my music theory is terrible.
Yeah, I want to take my music theory up. Like I want someone there like helping me with it. So I'm really like I'm excited to bring my music theory up to snuff. All right.
I appreciate it, Frederick.
Yeah.
Let's call it there.
If you'd like lessons, there are still a few slots open. They're gonna close quick, so you probably don't have a lot of time to think on it. Frankly, especially now that I've like shouted it out, I doubt that there will be any slots remaining by the end of the day. Frankly, so if you're interested,
we'll see.
You're gonna have to. Yeah. But even in a couple of days, there are some people who might bounce out because you're giving example lessons.
I've got 100% retention so far. If that's
okay, so
if that's a good sign, then I should mention that.
Yeah. Probably, yeah, that's good to mention. But yeah, message him anyway, just in case someone drops.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, thank you, everyone. I'll see you all again very soon. Ryan, it's always good chatting with you.
Oh, thank you, Fred.
All right, bye.
Bye.